Might have to look on the other side of you.
Yeah, looks like it.
I feel like I have all the room in the world.
Nothing personal. It's quick a meeting. Ladies that side, men this side. So a couple little trees bought in the twigs. My wife that told me back from North Conway. Yeah. She said came down across Route 16 between Conway and Conway. They cleared it up.
And then the one right on my road that was down, but I could get around with the truck. And this one up here, it hit somebody's windshield.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Well, he probably didn't come from this one. So traffic. Who said that? So they had.
How many of those I've taken?
I'm surprised. Well, maybe power outages, but it's a great thing. We had all of us were wiring up to someone with a red light when it's not, when you're not true for, and green light when you're on.
Last night, it was probably, mine was a bit longer.
Generator and everybody.
What about this? I got a brand new generator installed, and they went to do service checks and operated this with Brian Black at that, right? And it did put out power, and it had it in service, and it's supposed to put out, so there's some breaker or something in the generator that's not working, so I called him. It's got 50 hours or so. He put figure one in, it's small. I live there alone, so I don't need everything close. So, I mean, it's still, it would run your house, no problem. So I was stopping Kansas, no big deal, we didn't have any power outages anyway. And so we had 3 since where I am.
We haven't had any substantial ones since we moved back in. So, no, because we spend all that money and we don't use that budget.
Well, I try to have it there. There's a whole lot of numbers on it. It should.
I was feeling lonely, Steve, thank you. I said I was feeling lonely.
Like Michelle, we're good. Okay, which way do you want this?
What's that?
Which way do you want the neighbors?
It doesn't matter, everybody knows you.
Some good, some not so much.
I'm the guy that screams the votes.
Thank you. Call us to order. Representative Belcher, you want to lead us off?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Michael. Get started with some public comment.
I'll go first if nobody else wants to. I just had a question about this budget, which is the outside agency. I'm trying to figure out why in 68 hours of hunger went from 8,000 to 18,000. Requested, proposed. So maybe somebody could fill me in on that. Because I wasn't around. Obviously, I missed the meeting when they discussed all of this. I would say no. Would be my vote on that. Only because they've never given us a proposal to end this program. It just continues to grow and grow, and it's going to be perpetual forever, unless somebody stops it somewhere. So I keep doing that. That's fine.
Thank you. We will have a presentation from the subcommittee, and I think some of your questions will be answered.
Okay, thank you.
No further public comment? We will review and look at the Mountain View community first, since that's our largest piece. And seeing as he was last on our list last time, he's moved to the first of the list this time. There was a question from Representative Woodcock at our last meeting.
Yep, and he has that information emailed to him the next day.
Understood. Representative Woodcock, are you satisfied with what you received?
I must admit, I think it was in one of those 3,000 emails that came last week for Holocaust. So, boss, is the answer.
All right.
Can you,
If you have a copy of that, you have to have,
I will get you a copy for the answer.
thank you.
thank you, sir.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman.
It's okay. Trust me, we've been getting way too many of them lately. All right, we are on page 16 of the new packets. The executive committee went through the budget with the administrator. The overview is inflationary costs, propane and electricity were the major contributors, as well as agency staff. And if the administrator would like to speak to that, he has a better answer than I do.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Agency cost is one of our main drivers for the increase. You know, again, something that we've looked at, and we have made good traction at the beginning of this year, hiring 8 new people in the nursing staff. So that's something that we have looked to decrease about 10% versus what actual last year. So, you know, we do see that that is a priority, and we do have a agency reduction committee that has started, so we're looking at that weekly. So every single week, we look at the number of hours, the number of staff, and how to make things, how to lower the number of agency hours. So,
I think that's an excellent start, seeing as if I look at nursing, it's a very significant part of our budget.
and as you know, with agency staff, you know, it has to do with recruitment and retention, so we also have a retention committee that meets monthly, and they've been very successful. And we, you know, last year versus this year, we have terminated less people, which is a good thing. 41% of those terminations have been facility initiated. So whereas last year, the year before we had 42, this year we had 34. So we're keeping more people, they're just not leaving to other places. If they're leaving, a lot of times they're encouraged to go.
Understood and understandable, given the quality and everything that we want over there. We don't want to see that turned around. Any questions for the administrator on the budget for the nursing home?
I just have a question on,
Representative Bucco,
we're on page 16.
that's where I was, yeah.
And it goes on from there, right?
Yeah. So page 21 would be the total. We did go through departments and made some adjustments based on some overages and some underages, and some over expenditures and some under expenditures. There was a number of transfers that were approved at our last meeting, and probably more to be approved today. I would entertain a motion at this point.
May I just have one quick question?
Representative McDonald.
Mr. Administrator, you reviewed the budget with us and everything. Can you, with this budget, proposed budget, can you provide the quality that you're known for?
Well, that we're known for, yes.
You're known
The
for,
collective
right,
we,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Great, thank you. That's it, thank you. You're welcome. I'll make that motion if you'd like me to.
Please. Representative McDonald, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Representative Smith, any further, we're going to have further discussion, but any further questions for the administrator?
Okay.
Representative Bucco.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under 300, from 300, well, I guess it's all of it, but the committee recommendation is, this is the executive committee recommendation?
Correct. With all the adjustments requested by...
That's what I was trying to ask you.
Yeah, with all the recommendations from Mr. Director Murray and the administrator to make some adjustments in electricity and propane and some other areas that they overspent and underspent in.
Thank you. I knew you were
You're welcome.
Point that out to me.
Any further questions?
Yes.
Yeah, Representative Bucco.
Just, can we, what is the final number there?
It's on page 21, I believe.
Yes, 40 million,
Nope,
19,486.
Correct.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
21.
Representative Crawford.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
On page 16 on line, well, it's 45.045. Could you just explain the overture on that? It's like 155, 357 is remaining, but that's less. And then you asked for 550,000 on that line. It's the bed tax?
It's a bed tax.
Yeah, could you just explain?
I can, so the actual for 2024 was overstated because twice a year, the legislature will vote, if there's any money left in that line, they'll give it back to the nursing homes.
Yep.
So in this year, they did it twice because there was less Medicaid recipients than they thought.
Okay.
So unfortunately, finance put it in that line, where it shouldn't have been in that line, it should have been in the other income. So it's actually that's 5.5% of our net patient service revenue. So that's why it's less than what it was actually last year, because last year it was overstated by about $160,000.
Thank you.
The chairman has a question if everyone else is done. How are the auditors going to rectify us being over budget in expenditures and also over budget on revenue?
Is that a question for me?
It's a question for...
In my 2 years of accounting?
It would be for somebody that can answer that question.
It is my understanding that as long as the county is within their budget, you can borrow from other departments to make sure that that overage is taken care of. And the overage for revenue is a good thing, so.
Always a good, I will take that every day. The overage budget was 3.3 million that we captured in additional revenue.
I had 2.9, but you may be right.
2.9 is a nice number too, and then we also went over budget 800,000, so I'm happy with a net gain. And I hope that continues, that we continue capturing costs for your department, especially for the entire complex. Perfect. Any further questions for the administrator? Representative Bucco.
I hesitate to ask this question, but I don't see where the BEAS is on these sheets.
Yeah, that wouldn't be under my budget, but I know that it is.
It's not? Oh, okay, well, okay. My mistake.
BEAS is on page 14, Tom, at the top.
449.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I just had to ask a question on that because it usually just slides through with no questions.
Oh, no, we questioned it. It actually went down this year. Right direction for us.
That's good.
All right, seeing no further discussion, anybody online that is here present?
Representative Page, Representative Burrows.
My apologies.
We could hear.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you take a attendance, please?
Representative Cordelli. Representative Taylor.
Here.
Representative Smith.
Present.
Representative Belcher.
Here.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Hamblin. Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk's here. Representative Pettingill. Representative Bucco.
Yeah.
Representative Woodcock. Here. Representative Burrows.
Yes, I just want to let you know our internet is going up, out, in and out, and David Page is having the same problem.
Okay.
I'll leave it on the end.
We have the quorum present.
Representative McAleer.
He's busy.
Representative Page and Mr. Chairman.
Representative Page is on, so.
I've got to be, yes.
Okay, perfect. Present, Mr. Clark. All right, seeing no further discussion on the nursing home expenditures, Mr. Clark?
Okay, the motion is to approve the 2025 Mountain View budget for $19,486,156. Representative Taylor. Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Chamberlain is not here. Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
Representative Burrows.
I'm sorry, because I got cut out. Is this just for Mountain View?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my answer is no, thank you.
Okay. Representative Page, you back?
Yes, I'm here.
The vote on the Mountain View budget, please.
I'm not sure I heard the question, Leo.
Representative
Yes,
Page?
did you hear me?
Yeah, I
Sorry.
can hear you. We need a yes or a no, sir.
I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The motion passes 9-1.
Did you get my phone?
Yes, you were,
No, he didn't answer.
It's yes.
Okay, that's Representative
Taylor.
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 Thank you.
So it's 10-1.
Thank you. All right, on the revenue side.
The revenue side, we're looking to increase it by about 5.5% over last year. For a total of $13,169,694.
Was a typo on the 050 on that line, on that thing, was the interest income?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Motion to approve 13169,694 in revenue from the nursing home.
Get that number
Certainly, 13196. I'm sorry, 169. 694. Thank you.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Representative Smith. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Representative Crawford. Any further questions? Just want to get Representative Bucco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're on page 3, and the number we're approving is 13,169,694.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Just give us a quick overview of that number compared to what we received this year, Mr. Administrator.
Absolutely. So this budget is a little more aggressive than last year's, as you know, which I think I've spoken to you in the past about changing our quality mix and taking more Medicaid residents. And we've also done a very good job of capturing our costs for our Medicaid residents. A little more than a year ago, we were the second lowest reimbursed facility in the state. Now we're right at the median, so we've raised those, our daily reimbursement by about $30 a day, which is one of the reasons why we're looking to increase our revenue. And we're also increasing our revenue in our skills as well, whereas our room and board for private pays is going to remain the same at $410 a day. That will make up most of the difference.
Perfect. Are we looking at making an adjustment this year as well, given the additional costs that we've approved?
We have to give a 90-day notice if we're going to raise rates. There is some question about allowable costs for pro-share. So right now, we're on the line of pro-share. It has to be at 60%. We're just close to that. If we raise our room rate, it's going to be less, and we may get in trouble with pro-share, may not get reimbursed the same. So I'm talking to some people who are a lot smarter than I am when it comes to financials. or whether we're gonna raise our rate. So if we do that, we will, we'll go to the commissioners, and we do have to give the residents and the families 90 days. So as of right now, we're right in the sweet spot of all the competing nursing homes.
Perfect, thank you.
Question, Mr. Chair?
Representative Woodcock?
Thank you. Through you?
No,
Okay.
it's our meeting.
Thank you. As regards the rates, you establish the rates, they have to be approved by anyone?
We only established the private room rate.
Okay.
So we would go to the commissioners if we were looking to increase that.
So the increase in revenues come from the private rates, but not from Medicare?
It's not from private rates. The increase in revenue has to do with the quality mix, so our Medicare revenue and also our Medicaid revenue. And we did budget to have a little more private residents than we did in years
But
past.
the Medicaid or Medicare, are those levels set by the state? Or
Medicaid set by the state, Medicare state set by
so you
CMS.
can't adjust them?
The only way you can adjust them, if you take higher acuity residents, you're gonna get reimbursed at a higher rate.
Okay, I misunderstood when you spoke. I thought you were saying that you, besides changing the mix, that you'd increase the fees, and I'm trying to figure out how that happened.
We're only capturing our costs better, so we're getting reimbursed at a higher
Okay,
rate.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very welcome, Representative. On line 019 for our newer members, could you just explain what that is? It's on page 2.
Personal resources?
Yep.
So personal resources, when residents come in and they may have a pension or social security, the state allows them, if they're on Medicaid, a certain amount of money per month for their personal needs, and they have to give the rest to us. So so if someone has a $1,000 pension and the personal needs is around $80, we would get the rest. We'd get 1,000 minus 80, so we get the $920.
Thank you. And just quickly on the skills, we mentioned that in the expenses. Can you tell us how that, for the newer guys, how that works how that works in general?
So for a skilled resident who comes in, we're responsible for all their expenses. So if they need physical therapy, any type of therapy, any labs, any x-rays, we have to pay for that. So even though we're getting reimbursed at a higher rate, currently we're about $680 a day, there are associated costs with that. But the additional rate more than makes up for what you pay. So if someone has to go up to get an x-ray, the x-ray company will send us the bill and we have to pay it. So there are associated costs with it, but with the additional revenue, it more than offsets, so.
Anyone for any further questions? Anyone from our Zoom? No? Mr. Clark?
Okay, excuse me, the motion is to approve the revenues from Mountain View, $13,169,694. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Representative Burrows?
Yes.
Representative Page?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. We still have one more department for you, some capital.
Yep. I believe that was pared back a lot after the last commissioners meeting. If I understand correctly, I think the only thing, well, Mr. Murray is asking for things along with my budget as well. So I'm asking for a refrigerator for the dietary department. And I believe everything else, when it comes to the van, is going to be paid out of ARPA funds. Correct?
It's in here.
Can you hold that?
Yep, the breakdown.
Mr.
Chairman, I believe Melissa has some input.
I was just going to give you a revised requested total of 87,877 for the nursing home. That does take away the wheelchair van.
Okay, and can we get an updated list of what was removed?
That's all that we took out of the nursing home capital,
Okay,
was the van.
that number again?
87,877.
87877.
Yes.
And that is for refrigerator for you?
Refrigerator, mattresses for the entire facility, washing machine, and a wheelchair washer.
And 4 resident refrigerators.
Oh, and 4 resident, that's right, and 4 refrigerators for my.
And just for the people who weren't here, just want to give a quick overview of what those are, Bob?
The resident
Mr.
refrigerators?
Murray? Yes, what they encompass.
Yeah, we have 8 neighborhoods that have residents, and each one of them has their own kitchenette with refrigerator. And last year we replaced 4 refrigerators. This year we want to replace 4 more. Simple as that.
All right. Motion to approve 87877 for new capital expenditures for the nursing home.
I'll move.
Thank you, Representative Smith. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Representative Belcher. Any questions for the administrator or Mr. Murray?
Question.
Director Murray? Representative Woodcock, please.
Well, where are those, where are those, all those units, the washing machine and the refrigerator are going to be housed?
The washing machine's right down the hall here, the
Right.
laundry, and the 4 refrigerators are going to be on the first floor.
What about the wheelchair washer?
That's going to be in our the maintenance area.
Okay.
We wash wheelchairs quarterly.
Okay.
It's a big
I
dishwasher.
was just trying to figure out how much stuff is separated from building and all this. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Pleasure. Any further questions? Mr. Clerk?
Okay, the motion is new capital purchases for Mountain View in the amount of $87,877. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Representative Burrows?
Yes.
Representative Page?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Mr. Administrator?
Yes.
Your committee, does that meet weekly?
My retention committee meets monthly.
Yep.
My agency reduction is a weekly meeting on Wednesdays.
Are you furnishing the commissioners any updates, or is this just an internal?
It's an internal thing right now, but whenever I go in front, I usually go in front of the commission once a month with a state of the facility, and that's when we talk about hires, fires, how we're doing for recruitment, things like that.
Can we get those reports as well?
So typically, they're not in a written form ahead of time, they're just in the minutes.
I can do a monthly report, that's easy.
I think some of us would appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Piece of cake.
given that we're keeping an eye on the agency.
Yep.
That would help us, especially with that transfers.
Happy to do it.
Thank you, sir. I think you're done. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep.
You're clapping. Yep, we'll do.
Ready? Yeah. You're up. Representative McDonald.
Okay, the subcommittee on reviewing the outside agency appropriations we met, and we had a turnout of everyone that requested the money, and the subcommittee appreciates all the things that these different nonprofits do to support the Carroll County residents. We made some adjustments on their requests on different ones, and if you have any questions on about those adjustments, please ask myself, Representative Brown, and Representative Woodcock. There was a question about 68 hours of hunger. Could you address that, Representative?
Yeah.
Representative Woodcock.
Yeah, thank you. In the county, there are 3. Wakefield works out of the elementary school. They have 1. Mount Washington Valley, 68 Hours of Hunger, is up in the North Conway area. It covers the towns up in that area. And the other one is Wolfboro down here in the Carroll surrounding area as well, multiple schools. Wolfboro and the Mount Washington Valley area are almost similar in size and similar in service as compared to the Wakefield piece. And we thought it was appropriate that Wakefield, and all of them fundraise all the time. So Wakefield, we were at this, out of the 68 Hours of Hunger, would be allocated, if approved, $2,000. And the 2 units making equal, Wolfboro would equal $8,000, and the Mount Washington Valley would equal $8,000. That's where that additional money came up. And they are all, it became aware to us last year when both Wolfboro and Mount Washington Valley spend a considerable amount of time, all the time, raising money, and they have no paid staff, and it's all volunteer. So we're trying to take care of the county as those areas are serviced by 68 Hours of Hunger. It's Wakefield as a separate entity because of the size, and then the 2 northern entities, Wolfboro down below and Conway area, Mount Washington Valley area up top.
Thank you for that explanation, Representative Woodcock. Keep going, Mr.
You'll see some additions and some subtractions from some of them. In particular, if you want to look at Big Camp Valley School, they requested $20,000, and I believe they told us they had 37 students. The weekly 5-day tuition in school, 3 to 5, is $240 a week, and with that $10,000, that's $270.27 per student that the county would be providing, which would be, my math is right, 37 weeks worth of scholarships or help to any student that attends the school would be awarded, and that being at their discretion. The adult daycare center, we increased that to $65,000. They play extremely valuable service up in the North Conway, the North Country. We felt that was justified. Special advocates, we dropped down to $5,000. There's the bear camp. Carroll County Education, we level funded it. Then we felt after a presentation from the NIC that they provide a valuable service to the southern part of the county with a lot of folks from Wakefield, Brookfield, Tuftonboro, and multiple coming there using their facilities. There's the 18 Hours of Hunger. Retired senior volunteers. After listening to them, we dropped it down to $77,500. The next one was level funded at $75,000. Child Advocacy Center maintained at $70,000. And then a White House Recovery, we dropped that down to $100,000. And I think Representative Brown would like to make some comments on that.
Sure.
Representative Brown.
Thank you. So there's a couple things I want to mention in general over this that we talked about in the committee, and a note that I have here to myself was that last year's budget was $457,000 for these agencies that we considered. This year it's $545,500 that the commissioners proposed. And the background of this is that the budget guidance is that 2.5% of the budget is considered per year for these outside agencies. But it's guidance, it's not a mandatory thing. So I want to mention that this year's budget includes a 55% increase over last year's on the IT budget, which I'm on that subcommittee, which is not normal. It's a specific thing that we have to do periodically, and it's a significant increase that we feel is necessary to keep our servers secure. So that pushes us considerably higher on the overall budget than we might otherwise think. And we still are showing a 16% increase in the guidance on the outside agency appropriations, which the committee felt was appropriate based on what's going on in the county. So, in general, I wanted to make a note that over the last 5 years, we've donated as a county $690,000 to the White Horse Recovery Agency, which we all feel is an important agency to members of our county. But we also feel that being responsible with the budget, that although it would have been basically a 25% increase over last year, and I know costs for all agencies have gone up, we felt that because of the long-term investment we've made in White Horse, that it isn't appropriate for us to continue to support it at that level, when in fact there are 2 other counties that White Horse serves that, from my understanding, do not contribute to their agency. The other issue is that was mentioned is that the county jail uses their services, and there's no charge to the county jail for those services. When in fact, if it's a service that's provided to the jail, it's not an outside agency that we consider like a charitable agency. That should be funded by the county jail if those are services that are provided by them. So for those reasons, and the fact that several county members have mentioned to me that they feel that the outside agency appropriations are higher than what they would like to see, I feel that we're being more than generous with the county funds by funding $530,500 and recommending $100,000 for the White Horse Agency. So that's my spiel. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Woodcock.
Thank you, Mr. Just to follow up on Representative Brown's dialogue, it is $15,000 less than was recommended by the Commissioner's budget.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, there's a hand raised on Zoom. I just don't know who it is.
It's Anita.
Representative Burrows.
Yeah, I just have a question about White Horse right now, and just in general. Do we know how much White Horse raises on their own? And is that a question of all these agencies assisting money? You know, do they do their own fundraising?
Representative McDonald.
I believe that the ones that we talked to do some fundraising. White Horse also has, I believe, a printing business where you can go in and have things printed. And I just had some concerns with that, as that's now competing against a local business that may do the same type of work. And also, we mentioned the 5-year average. As I recall, I think 2018 and 2019, that's when they first came in, and we had given them, I think, $150,000 each one of those years. If anyone has a better recollection than me.
That's what's shown in the machine.
I mean, in 2018 and 2019 also, we gave them, which brings them up to over $1 million. If you add this year's request of $150, I'd be glad to entertain if the Department of Corrections feels this is a valuable service. If they want to add $25,000 to their budget, I would consider making that motion if that was something they wanted to do.
I will say that they are an asset to us, again, as far as us paying our budget free of charge. I realize that it's county money involved, but it's services outside of our budget that we're getting free. They're one of the only, maybe the only, transportation services to get our inmates to residential treatment programs. And they also teach a couple classes within the jail, recovery classes and things of that nature. So they're 100% an asset, and again, transportation-wise, they're basically our only asset that's willing to transport these people to where they need to go. So that's my 2 cents.
Representative McDonald, you have
Mr. Superintendent, you have $25,000 in your budget currently you can use to pay that service?
Out of my, no, I'm actually going to be asking you for more money today. So, no, I certainly don't have 25 hanging around that I can, allocate to that.
You go.
I'm sorry, can I ask the follow-up? Sorry, I'm having trouble because I'm using my phone
Representative Burrows,
to raise my hand.
Yep. Go ahead, Representative Burrows.
I think it froze.
Yeah, I guess it was Representative McDonald talking. Beyond the print shop that Whitehorse has, do they do their own fundraising of any kind?
I'm aware they do like a golf tournament. I don't know if it was last year, but I know they've done a golf tournament previously.
Quickly.
We do a lot of fundraising of our own. We do an annual dinner. We get grants from other foundations. We get a lot of money from various donors. We have a lot of expenses that are not covered. The grant that we get from the county is exclusively for clinical services in Carroll County for residents of Carroll County. The print shop probably has a profit of about $200 to $300 a month. It's a small, very small operation, and it's intended as a workforce training center. And we do that there. It helps people in recovery. So that is not a big profit center for us.
Thank you. Representative Burrows, did I answer your question?
I think she's frozen.
Representative Belcher.
Thank you. Another question, just based on some of the conversation that has occurred. I have my own concerns with funding of NGOs by government, but if we were to move things around and require them to bill their services to the jail, presumably this is a not-for-profit, presumably it's a charity. Does that present any problems for their tax status if they were to turn around and bill for services?
I couldn't hear the question.
My question was, if we made changes and asked Whitehorse to bill services to the jail instead of allocating funds in this manner, given that it's probably not-for-profit and charity, does that present any problems for the tax status of the organization if it were to bill for services?
No, it would not.
No, it wouldn't.
But I can tell you the billing, if we billed at a rate, would be a lot more than the $25,000 that we are being cut from last year. So if we were level funded to last year, it would be $125,000. It would exceed that amount. We do some very long distance transportations. We're paying the driver. We aren't billing for mileage. I think standard would be $250 a mile, and we're doing hundreds of miles every week, I think. We're providing that service free of charge because somebody needs to do it. And we're providing the Smart Recovery meetings in the jail for men and women every week through using a CRSW, a Certified Recovery Support Worker, to do that work, again, at no charge. And I believe the data shows, this is data from the jail, shows that the recidivism rate drops from in the 70s to in the 30s for people that can get through a program like ours while they're incarcerated. And so that is a benefit, a huge benefit to the community. And a lot, we're helping thousands of people every year in the county, literally. The work we're doing in the other counties have nothing to do with the grant. They're not supported by this grant. We do get support in the other counties for our operations. For example, the city of Berlin has been tremendously supportive with financing for what we're doing up there. And I also know that last year the county got $165,000 in opioid settlement money that is supposed to be earmarked for the sort of work we're doing. $125,000 came to Whitehorse. I don't know how the rest of that was spent, but...
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question, if now is an appropriate time.
Representative Page, please.
I'm just curious about, I'm generally just supportive of the subcommittee's recommendation and want to trust your work, but I'm curious about the NIC, because I recall us funding it, and I'm seeing here in the spreadsheet that we funded it at $15,000 in 2023, and then we actually made a determination to cut it the following year based on the rubric we use and the size of their endowment, is my recollection, that they had a pretty significant endowment. So I'm curious to just hear from the subcommittee what that presentation entailed and what the rationale for the decision to restore that funding in the current or in the current proposal is, just so I have context for that decision.
Representative McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think in 2024 they requested any funding. At least I don't recall them requesting it. They're doing a major project for the community, an indoor track and also some pickleball courts, which anyone will be able to use, whether you live in Tufton Row or Brookfield or Wakefield. And that's just, they originally asked for $50,000, and we thought that $25,000 wasn't a reasonable amount to contribute based on the use of the Carroll County residents that live in the local communities. They do a lot of fundraising. I agree with you on that, and it's very supported by the community, not just Wolfville, but surrounding communities. We felt that $25,000 was well needed as a contribution to the NIC for this particular year. I don't believe they'll be back after this, but as we know, everything helps out.
Follow, Representative Page.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate the answer.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the sake of time and out of respect for the subcommittee, although I don't agree with every appropriation as stated, I am going to support the recommendation. After all, this body created that subcommittee for this purpose. They give us their recommendation, so I'm just going to go with their recommendation. Thank you.
Representative Smith moves 530500 from the subcommittee recommendation. Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Representative Woodcock. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk.
Didn't you just catch him?
Yep. It's your recommendation.
Okay, the motion is to adopt the regional appropriations in the amount of $530,500. Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
No.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
Representative Burrows. Representative Burrows. Representative Page.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Representative Burrows.
I think she's still frozen.
She said she's on her phone. She's going back to that screen.
You want me to wait, Mr. Chairman?
No, we have a quorum present.
Motion passes 9-1.
Given that the subcommittee will not be meeting again, a motion to approve their minutes from January 17th is part of the package that we've got today.
So moved.
Thank you, Representative Woodcock. Representative McDonald seconds.
Yep.
Representative Taylor.
Abstain, I was not at the meeting.
We need a motion, a positive motion, so you can vote on it.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Okay, I'll approve the minutes of the subcommittee. Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
Representative Burrows. Okay, Representative Page?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I want to thank the committee for their work on this. It does save a lot of time at our level.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. If Representative Burrows rejoins us, we can certainly follow up on your votes. Representative Belcher, awaiting your...
Mr. Chair, I just have a question on the IT committee. Is this trying to get more money by making this schooner out when we're trying to use it?
We arranged the weather today.
Well done, well done. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think Representative Burrows is back up.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The unanimous recommendation out of the IT subcommittee was to fund the 2 full-time positions of director and help desk with additional funding for necessary contract work, prioritizing the use of available federal funding, and a further recommendation for a system audit once the transition to the new system is completed. This was the recommendation based on several meetings we had, an awful lot of documents gathered. It is slightly less than was requested in the most recent request from the commissioners, which was a 3 full-time positions. However, it does make a recommendation for contract work as needed. And that is where we stand. I'd be happy if anybody has any questions on it to inform you on the details.
Representative McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, those are current positions, they're just changing the titles, or are they going to be new positions?
So it's going to be, one of the positions will be a new hire. One of the positions is, I believe it's a reorganization of a current position.
Okay.
So ultimately, it's one additional new full-time position.
Thank you.
Representative Woodcock.
Thank you, Chair. Mike, does this come under a separate department now? The IT piece?
I believe we've reorganized the budget, pulled everything out of the different places that were IT related, and now put it under an IT budget.
Follow up, sure.
So this specialist that we're hiring, especially we have now, is that the one we see on the contract specialist, there's something different?
So the recommendation for the committee being the 2 positions, so one of the positions would be the IT director position, which is effectively the same position that currently exists, overseeing the whole IT department,
Okay.
and the addition of the new help desk position, which is a day-to-day, somebody's got an issue, you contact the help desk. If they can help on the spot, they can. If not, they put in scheduled work to do other stuff, and it's...
Can I ask one more?
Please.
Is this position, I'm only questioning, we've seen it's been on the remote in the past. So is this position going to be housed here, or is it going to be a contract service remote?
It's an in-house employee, county employee position.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Welcome. Do the commissioners want to clarify
I think so.
and have some new numbers for us?
I thought what we discussed was 3 positions. We originally wanted 4. And now we want to do 3.
This is too bad.
The motion recommended full delegation of funding of 2 full-time positions, those positions being a director position and a help desk position, with the funding also for contract work that would stand instead of the 3rd position that was requested.
So it's 3 total positions still. 1 is a contract position. The director,
Don't use names, yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. The redesignated person, and then the help
For
desk.
some reason, I didn't think that's what we had here.
Okay, because I'm hearing what you guys are saying, I'm hearing 3 positions. We're moving a position, we have a director position desire there, and we're adding a help desk.
Yes.
So are you telling me we need 3 positions for the county, or the help desk going to be contracted out with possible federal funds taking care of that for the time being?
We need the 3 positions, is what we need.
As far as what county employees, the way that the motion was structured that came out unanimous would be that there would be 2 county employee positions being funded, being the director position and the help desk position. And then there would be the funding for contract work recommended, not necessarily on a constant basis, but to fill in wherever bulk work was necessary.
That's not what we feel we need. We feel we need 3 positions. Which is what the revised, which is what the revised proposal.
I will, well, I know that the subcommittee put some time into this, and I want to hear their recommendation is for which positions to stay. So we already have 1 full-time person here.
Correct.
We're asking for 1 more full-time. Your recommendation is 1 more full-time person?
Correct.
And to have some contract services in as needed.
That's correct.
And we also still have another contractor on site.
We have a contractor on site at this present time. No, that wasn't.
So to clarify further, that I believe that there was a specific request for 3 positions within the county employee rubric. That would be the director, that would be the, I forget the second position, IT specialist perhaps, and then there was the help desk position. And the recommendation out of committee was to fund 2 of the 3 of those with the availability of contract work to take the spot of the 3rd. And to use, of course, to prioritize the use of federal funding where possible to fund
one-time expenses?
Fund one-time expenses, correct.
Representative Woodcock.
Thank you, sir. Where is the contract service line on this? You said you're going to you may have opportunity, a need to subcontract out specialized services occasionally. Right.
Correct.
Where is that line here?
That was the recommendation that came out of our subcommittee just 5 minutes before this started, so
so
I don't know that you're going to see.
Okay, so no, follow-up?
We don't have the final.
Yeah, we haven't got final numbers yet.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the
question.
discussion was from today that we will get those.
Okay.
Yes.
I got it.
Now.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And just to, if I may,
Please,
expound.
continue.
If I may expound, the request was put in to look at what other counties are doing for comparative purposes. And frankly, they're a little bit all over the place, with some being as high as 5 full-time employees on site with no contract work. But it appears that on average, the counties that are more comparable to us in size are doing the work with 1 to 2 full-time persons with or without a contract. Yes.
If I might mention, Mr. Chairman, we also just recently this week, I met with my committee in the State House with one of the people that are responsible for IT in the state, and communicated with Commissioner McGee that we wanted to make sure that the systems were coordinated with what the state systems currently have, and that we have the right protocols for that. And the director, as we met earlier today, agreed that that would be done. They have a contact with that existing person. So there is still a little bit of clarification on the absolute requirements going forward. So we talked about funding these positions here, but we also said that we would have to look at, based on the schedule that we've just received from the commissioners, and the budget is pushing some of this stuff back because we can't get it all done in this year's budget. So next year's budget would have to be probably increased slightly to handle that additional work. I just want to make sure that this is still a little bit ongoing on some of the clarification points.
Commissioner McGee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if everybody understands exactly what's happening with our IT system. We're taking a system that's 20-plus years old, and not to get too heavily into the weeds here in a public conference, but we're taking a 20-year-old system that was basically put together in components as we went along, and we're trying to build a new system while that system's up and running. But in order to build the new system, we have to capture all of the information from 20 years or whatever and migrate it over. It's not an easy job. At some point, after we get it up and running, we may not need as many people. But I'm pleading with you to please give us the 3 people. We need to get the, I talked to Dennis Goulet at the state yesterday, and many of the new counties are moving to bring their IT in-house for better control, so they're not subject to the cloud. They have their own servers, and they can do this internally. But this is really a big project, and much bigger than me personally that I envisioned it when we started. It's not an easy project. It's not going as fast as I'd like it to, and we would really like to get this thing going and make sure it gets done this year. And that, even that's not fast enough, but it's probably the best we'll be able to do. But we need the 3 people. I mean, if realistically, this is a system that has to function 24/7, 365. Cannot be down. You have the sheriff's department, you got dispatch, you got the nursing home. We need the people to do this. And I would ask you to take that into consideration.
Can some of that stuff be handled, given that we have a time limit, time frame to do that, to bring in an outside contractor, seeing as we already have an outside contractor, to bring in somebody that's can get the job done for us in a reasonable time frame, so we're not hiring people and then looking to get rid of them next year, because that's not good employment policy.
We believe we'll need 3 people going forward full-time. Keeping in mind that we have an outside contractor now that we will not be paying after this year.
When that contract, we will be taking a look at that contract when it comes up for renewal.
Correct.
Correct.
Well, that contract expires in March of 2026. And by that point, we will definitely be on our own, and have our own system, managing in-house.
Okay?
May I just
please
further clarify the intent, and I believe this was the intent behind the recommendation, was to provide the funding for those 2 positions, knowing that there is an upfront need to get a bulk of work done, a real need, to get a bulk of work done in a fairly short period of time, to further fund contract work, to be able to bring in whatever is necessary to get that done. Especially considering that it was expressed a couple different times that it might take some time, even if we did fund those 3 positions. That second position that the committee did not recommend funding in this recommendation, it was expressed that it could take some time to fill that.
All right.
So,
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Certainly.
What of the 3 positions, 1 position we have an internal person who will be filling that position. So we're actually only to have to go outside to find 1 person. And that would be the help desk person, which is I'm told by our IT people, is the easiest position to find somebody to do. And should be fairly easy to fill. And understanding that the help desk person basically keeps the system going day to day. When each individual department has an issue, somebody has to run over there and fix it if something goes down. And it happens a lot. I mean, we have somebody now who's helping us who basically is spending all his time doing that.
I can certainly understand that. But the question I have is, if we're going to have an administrative level position and then a full-time position, why do we need a help desk position when we have 80 man-hours or available plus a contractor?
Well, the contractor is as needed. As needed. If we don't need to use the contractor, we won't. It's going to be an as needed as we go if our internal people can't do it. If the contractor can speed up the process, we'll use the contractor.
No, we have a contractor now.
Yes.
Who is on site.
Correct.
Has been on site relatively a lot, given the age of our system.
Correct.
And the maintenance of it. We brought in a full-time person last year to expedite that process. For what I'm hearing, there's some improvements made, but it's not moving fast enough.
Correct.
So we're handing you another full-time position.
Yes,
So that's 2 full-time people and a contractor.
yes,
You want another full-time position
yes,
for a help desk and possible to go out for contract work.
yes.
So at some point, that's 5 people.
At some point, that's 5 people. No, ultimately, no.
Hopefully we can, we would have, after this budget cycle, we would have 3 full-time people. We would only need a consultant if we had a major project to do. But outside of that, we'd have our new system up and running. We wouldn't be relying on the old system anymore. And we would have 3 full-time people on site. So that we don't get 20 years behind again.
The question I have is, we've had 1 person for the last,
1.5 is what we have right now, plus the contractor, plus a consultant.
are any of them here today?
They were at the IT subcommittee meeting, all of them.
Gentlemen, you can follow along the,
I have. I was a little bit confused on some of the conversation earlier. My understanding originally was that we had a director, we would have a full-time person, and then we'd have a full-time help desk person. And then we would have contracted people as required to expedite the project, whether we use the current contractor or whether we get a different contractor that would more directly meet the needs of this specific project. Was a thing that wasn't that clear.
so make it clearer for you, Chairman.
I can't make it clear for the chairman. I thought it was director, a full-time person, and a full-time help desk person. That's what I thought the discussion was. So I might have misunderstood when I was looking at the information. So I guess I'll go back if I might ask one other thing. So
Please.
the funding that we looked at earlier, that was submitted, did it show the director, full-time person, and the help desk that we were looking at the funding for it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm good now. That's what I thought I understood.
We revised the,
Please.
We revised the original budget down considerably from.
You took out 1 more person.
Correct. So, and we dropped it down almost $112,000
Originally was
from the
4,
original proposal.
then we went down to 3.
Right.
We dropped it to 115,000, I thought. Okay.
And honestly, if we find in the future we don't need this many people, we won't have this many people. I mean, it's a matter of getting up and running and see what it takes to keep it going. I mean, talking to the CIO at the state, he said 3 is not an excessive amount of people for a system this size. And if you look at some of the counties, they're running 5. I'm hoping we can do 3, and that would be adequate to run our system.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Excellent. Inspector did say they're having trouble.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maybe this has been answered already, maybe I missed it. Has this build-out been, has an outside agency like Armon Networks or someone to that type of business been contacted to determine if they can build this out much faster, speedier, and efficiently than bringing on full-time employees?
Please.
You go ahead.
We discussed different options for what might come down the pike to get this built out as quickly as possible. The impression, from my perspective on the committee, from the current person in the IT director role, was that it could conceivably be something that could be done with contract work coming in to help get things flipped over more quickly. We didn't receive a specific request or recommendation on that, but it was expressed that might be an option to get it done quickly.
Please, Representative Smith.
Wouldn't it be wise before we bring on full-time employees to explore those type of contracts? Melissa looks like she wants to answer.
We have, but Commissioner McGee.
Commissioner McGee. Follow up?
Again, without getting too deep into the weeds, we explored that. We actually reached out to 2 different contractors who chose not to participate. I'll leave it at that.
Understood. We've heard enough of you, Mr. Brown. Representative Taylor.
It's part of my ignorance, but thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand this is a 24/7 type responsibility, so these folks will be on call to call them for fire department dispatch and whatnot, as well as vacation time, holidays, whatnot.
Exactly.
So just wanted to understand that. And this figures will be the latest ones, 112,000 less than what's in this
Yes.
budget. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Representative Taylor. Good to have you here. Do we have a motion? Representative Bucco, please enlighten us.
No, I'm not. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm just trying to clarify in my own mind what we're asking for here. You're asking for 3 full-time employees, and that is that correct in the first place?
The original ask was for 4, now it's 3.
So,
follow up?
Yes, I'll follow up. This happened at the state level also, and for years they tried to piece it back together, and now we have an entire department. And so how long will it be before we have a department here? It'll probably be 4 or 5 years.
It'll be at the end of this budget, it looks like.
Yes.
If I...
Representative Belcher, please.
Just to clarify, the original budget ask was for 4. The updated budget ask was for 3. The recommendation out of the committee was for 2, plus funding for contract work to make up that third role. So that's not the figures you see in front of you. The figures you see in front of you do not represent what came out of committee, because we just did it right before we started here.
Yeah, yes, okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Follow up?
To Representative Taylor's point, on top of the holidays, vacations, and everything else, you also have people coming and going, and you need some redundancy. You need some people that know the system and can run it. And I use the, if you get it by a bus analogy, but things do happen. And I would be very uncomfortable with less than 3 full-time people, very uncomfortable. I think it's necessary, and I can't stress that enough or whatever it's worth.
Representative McDonald.
Do we have a salary number, what the exact salary number is? Is it 209,933 or?
Correct.
If I may. That's...
Somebody, please.
That's the salary request prorated for the rest of this year, assuming we were funded at 3 positions, starting, I believe, today, more or less.
Can I ask one more quick question?
Follow up?
So just to be clear, we're going to have a director, another support person, and help desk person continuously.
That will depend on what motion is forthcoming.
Okay, but at this particular time, that's what this reflects.
That reflects the budget that you see in front of you, the new budget asked from the commissioners. Yes.
Question, Representative.
Representative Woodcock, please. Sorry, I was looking at numbers.
I don't want to, on the document you passed out, it has 4 people. IT director, someone on loan, 2 contractors. So where is, I see the special position, and I see the help position. Is the IT directors, which would be the 3rd person in that department, including that 209? Or is that just those 2 people there?
That 209 from the budget that we're seeing here in front of us includes those 3 positions, which does include the IT director, but only through the rest of this year. So a full year salary would be larger than what you're seeing.
Okay. So that's what you're talking about, in the other budget we get, we're going to see the projection of what I was trying to do. So you're asking this 200, you're asking the figures in orange here, Mike, for now through the end of the year? What you're doing?
We, as in the committee, have
That's
not
it.
produced numbers for you yet because we just finished the hearing right before this started. What you're seeing here is the ask from the commissioners.
Oh, okay, that's the orange?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Revised
thank you.
proposed, yes.
Okay, I thought that was you, I was trying to link that to the, okay.
So the
Okay.
209,000 that Representative Woodcock is asking for, is that a partial year or a full year?
So that's 1.5 for the full year, because that's what we currently have, and then 1.5 from April 1st to December. And earlier in the subcommittee, we didn't get back to it, but he had asked to, what does it look like next year? And that 209 becomes 232.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner McGee.
understanding that the $9,000 a month outside contractor that currently handles our system goes away as of March of
26.
or sooner, depending on how it works out.
Thank you. Subcommittee have a recommendation?
Okay.
I need numbers.
Numbers? We didn't get the numbers worked out from.
So the two positions,
exact numbers.
the two positions that you're recommending is an administrative position and one additional support position.
That's correct.
Do we have those numbers?
Are we going? Yep, I do. Do you want the bottom line for the IT budget? Or
I want the
each
numbers for
one?
the salary first, and then we will
Sure.
continue on.
Salary 169,763.
Can I have the breakdown for that?
Yep, so that's the IT director and the IT specialist and the,
I don't hear any ads, only two positions.
yep. I was just going to the page of how much money that is, if you want those.
Yep, I want a breakdown of both positions.
Sure, so the director is 97,618. And the second person is 74.
Continue with the social security, short,
Yep, so social security is 10,525. Short-term disability is 1325. Medical insurance.
why did that not go down?
I don't think in the original, let me just double check. Yeah, in the original ask, it was only 2 people.
Okay.
So,
No, I think that was
then medical insurance, do you have 57,097? That's, so that stays the same. Retirement, 22,307. Medicare, 24,62. And that's all the changes I have. And then the bottom line,
The Medicare was what again?
24,62.
All right. Yep, 1 second. Talk to me about the licensing. Because we're going from 13,000 in '24 to 80,000 in this year.
I can tell you the biggest chunk of that is the Windows Business Office 2024, so we can upgrade to today instead of various years that we currently run on.
Is this a one-time purchase?
I believe, yes.
Why are we not using ARPA money if we're doing a security upgrade?
So the only consideration we did with ARPA is we took our the capital project out of 157 and moved that to ARPA because we hadn't talked further with this group or the IT subcommittee about anything else you might want to move.
What else is in there for licensing?
They have listed here Ninja One, which is security, GoDaddy, the domain names, server operating licenses, firewalls, security.
Say that again? GoDaddy for domain names?
Yep. That's where the domains are registered.
Why do we have domain names when we should have a .gov?
I'm just reading what they have. It's not a lot. It's $2,000 for those. I don't know.
That's where the state's going.
Sonic Dwell, which is the Registry of Deeds Security, and then, yeah, I can let you look at the whole list if you'd like.
Well, no, the countywide contract says registry of deeds at the bottom for $121,000.
So that's the actual contract for the long-term contractor that we have. The county pays an additional $500 to him to service the Registry of Deeds.
I thought we upgraded the registry of deeds so they would be standalone.
Somebody still has to be their tech person on site, I guess, that can work with the tech off-site.
Okay, just making sure, because I remember we were going in a different direction on that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So one-time expenses, what is the one-time expense in the licensing? Was the Windows upgrade?
Yeah, probably the biggest chunk is the Windows Business Office 2024, the $37,500.
Okay. We also have computer expense contracts.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just to throw out a quick clarification on that, we are up against a hard deadline coming this fall to swap to new Windows system because the old one will no longer be supported.
Okay. That's nothing that should come as a surprise. I mean, we've probably known that for a couple of years that it was no longer going to be supported. $46,000 for computer expense contracts.
Yep, so the bulk of that is the county website, which is $17,000 a year for support and hosting. $7,200 for the deeds website posting. And then we.
Why isn't that over in the deeds budget?
That's a great question. I don't know.
If I may.
Please, somebody please.
I believe there was an intent to pull all of the IT stuff out of everywhere else and bring it under its own IT budget.
Thank you.
Yes.
Except the department-specific software, which still lives in each department.
Which would be deeds. Sheriff, is your stuff in here, or yours is in your budget?
My licensing and software updates are in mine.
Thank you.
Mine as well.
Your jail?
Mine as well.
Thank you. Nursing homes?
Yeah.
You have quite the system over there.
My resident-specific stuff
Yes.
in my budget.
Yes, but all of your stuff is kind of going out, right? You log into somewhere else, it's not on site?
Correct.
Thank you. Who else is here? Yours is in your budget?
Yes, sir.
Of course, yours is in your budget, because you are specific as well.
Finance is in the finance budget. Gotcha, so noted.
Okay. I will tell you, I'm not having fun at this moment. All right. Somebody, Representative Smith, you want to take over the meeting for a minute while I look at this again?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's got a question, Joe.
Yep, go ahead.
Mike, you said the computer upgrades, you got a one-time purchase, that was $37,500? I think what Melissa said that?
The licenses,
That was for the Microsoft 11?
it's.
Windows 11, I mean?
No, it says, well, Windows Business Office 2024.
I'm all done with this budget. We're going to move on to something else so we can get some stuff done today. I'm not going to run us long today. We had a very long day yesterday.
One, two.
It was. Please come back to this. You see the direction I want to go. Thank you. Mandated appropriations for UNH, let's not keep them here any longer. Page 14, 4611, UNH and Conservation District. I will, motions for both of those, please.
I move that we
Representative Bucco, please, motion.
Yes, I move that we accept the amount of $374,822 for, that's for both cooperative extension and the conservation district.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
The executive committee heard from both UNH and the Conservation Commission. UNH is just a slight increase for costs. Conservation District is a decrease because they had a change in personnel. Any further questions? Mr. Clark? Do we have Zoom or is that dead?
It's dead. I did create a new Zoom and I sent it out to Representative Page and Burrows, but I haven't gotten any response, so I don't know if their power's down, internet.
Anita said she's gone.
She's gone. How about Representative Page?
I haven't heard back from her. It's all outage up there.
Thank you.
They both left at 2 p.m.
Thank you. Yes, we have a quorum present.
Okay, the motion is to approve county mandated appropriations in the amount of $374,822. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Okay, Representative Havliani? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. 4151, Treasurer.
9-0.
Thank you. Is he here today? Representative Smith, do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve $12,909 for the treasurer.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Representative Brown. The only thing that we made an adjustment on was for travel. Seeing as the new treasurer lives in town, we felt that travel would be a bit less. Hence the reduction.
Page.
Oh, sorry, page 5 in the middle, 4151 for the treasurer.
Thank you.
Yep, you are welcome.
I made the motion.
Seconded by Brown. Any further discussion? Mr. Clark.
Okay, the motion is to approve the treasurer's salary in the amount of $12,909. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes on.
Thank you. HR 4155. The subcommittee heard from that department. There was an increase in the software was the large increase that we saw, and advertising as well for more recruitment and retention. Is the HR director here?
I am the HR generalist for Linda today, is that all right?
And you are?
Taylor Gunn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for HR that I did not answer? Can you just go over the software and the advertising?
So the software did go up approximately 5% from last year. 8 of the 10 itemized services had increases. The payroll software, and we're asking for an increase in recruitment and retention as well as, sorry, just a second. I think that was it.
Question is here.
Representative
What's
Woodcock.
the difference between recruitment and advertising?
So recruitment can be anything from the job fairs that we go to and any of the live events. The advertising is more ZipRecruiter, Craigslist, things like that, newspaper advertising.
Thank you.
Welcome. Just the breakdown of the software.
For this year?
Yep, because I know one part of it is payroll, a large chunk of it is payroll. What are your other ones that you have in there?
I believe payroll is our only software.
I couldn't hear the question over the wind.
Our only software is the payroll system on the HR budget.
I think so, just verify, I'm looking that up to verify. Your one.
Would equipment like copiers be in that same line?
The notes from the prior finance says that the checkmate payroll is the only thing in that line for software.
Okay.
Was there a second question?
Nope, just what was in their software.
Okay.
Thank you. 425048, motion to approve.
Motion.
Representative Smith, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Representative Brown, any further discussion or questions for Ms. Gunn? Mr. Clark?
Okay, the motion is to approve the HR budget in the amount of $425,048. Representative Carroll.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County Attorney and Victim Services. As soon as I get that, I will give it right to you, sir. First page. The Executive Committee met with the County Attorney. There was some adjustments in his salary and positions. Oil and propane.
Electric, sorry.
Yep. A few other small changes. He started out level budgeted and he just up a little bit because of the propane and electricity. So, what department-specific software is in your line?
It's called Prosecutor by Carroll.
Thought so. And that you guys have been using that for years?
We've been using that for years. It's actually mandated by the state to use in prosecution offices.
Perfect. We still have the same amount of staff. I see that we got some paperwork recently. You're still
Yes.
staffed fully, or you have some?
Yeah, it's the same one paralegal spot. The previous paralegal's last day was January 31st. We're still looking to fill that spot, but other than that, we're full staff.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you, Representative McDonald.
Are they all licensed attorneys in New Hampshire?
All of the attorneys are licensed attorneys.
Follow up?
Not right now, just writing some notes.
Property liability also went up. There's a few adjustments that aren't salary related. Any questions for the county attorney on his budget? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Representative Woodcock. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Representative Brown, thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Clark.
The motion is to approve the county attorney's budget at $1,396,286. Okay, Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Victim Services as well. I know that we are funding it fully, but we're going to be exploring the grant again.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Actually, just had a meeting on Wednesday with the state grant. They're looking into a possibility of funding it through state funds instead of relying on the federal funds because so much is up in the air. But they didn't want to guarantee anything yet, but we will be looking at that as it continues to develop.
At least something.
At least something.
I like that. Motion to approve 159097.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Representative Brown.
Can you just give me a little overview of why the salaries have changed? It seems pretty significantly over the year.
So I looked at the historical data, and the assistant position a couple of years ago got funded at a level higher than what the person was being paid. We had some turnover in that spot, so I basically just funded it at what the new person is starting at as opposed to keeping the historical.
Thank you.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Do we have a
second?
Second, Representative Brown. Any further questions for, and for our new member, just give us a quick overview of what that is, what that department does.
The Victim Services Department keeps my office in compliance with the Victims' Bill of Rights, which is a New Hampshire law that gives the victims of crimes certain rights in criminal prosecution. Basically, we have to keep them notified of hearings, get their input on plea negotiations, as well as give them an opportunity to speak at court hearings. And that department basically reaches out to the victims, lets them know of upcoming hearings, sort of communicates with the victims on behalf of the attorneys, and also arranges meetings with the attorneys if such meetings are necessary.
Thank you. Any questions, Representative Taylor?
No.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, the motion is to approve the county attorney victim services in the amount of $159,097. Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you. Could you stick around?
Yes.
All right, Registry of Deeds. We had a very robust discussion with the Registry of Deeds about her expenditures and her revenues.
Here's some more, just updated. This time you can pass them down.
There were some adjustments to electricity and propane we had to do. Other than that, the budget is relatively inflationary for wages.
Just put them here, actually.
We're on page 6 for everybody. Just give us a quick overview for a new member about what your office does.
We record and, we record and protect the county records. We're working with a relatively new vendor still to do the land records management system. So there's still some technological things happening with that, but we're working on it every day. What I just passed out are just, the last couple of months' new figures, just to show that we're on track for what we budgeted. I'm not sure what else to say.
Thank you.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Representative Woodcock.
I don't know if you know the answer, but I just heard the question yesterday. They were talking about deeds that have been manipulated and fraudulently, I'm not talking yours, fraudulently moved. Can you tell us what that is? What that means?
Fraudulently.
So they've been adjusted illegally, and now someone's using those as a Is that a thing?
That, it is a thing.
Is that okay?
Please, that was my question as well.
Yeah, my last position was at Sager and Smith as a real estate paralegal. I took many CLEs about different kinds of fraud. As the register and the people recording the documents, we follow the statute to the T. But yes, I believe because records are online, there is the possibility of fraud, always. I wasn't in the camp that said go online back in the day, but here I am.
Follow up.
Thank you. So if I have two deeds, the written deed and the electronic deed, and they're different, how do you, which one has priority?
I believe the recorded deed is what matters.
The written one?
The one that is recorded at the registry. And so if that deed has, if a deed has been recorded that is fraudulent, I think it's a lawsuit. It's not, I mean, I think it's a lawsuit between the parties, not with me. Because we're following the statute.
Okay.
Follow.
Yeah, so if I have a deed, I pay for my house, I have my mortgage, the whole deed, and the rocks and the trees, right? It's the paper one, and it's been recorded now. You made it electronic. It's electronic in the records now, right? So if something happens, do they go back to the paper deed, or they go by the electronic deed?
Well, when the deed is recorded, if it's a paper recording that the attorney or you walked in to record, you will within 2 days get that deed back, and that is the recorded deed. I would imagine if someone is examining the title later and the deed that is of record somehow has been changed, then that's going to be some sort of fraud, and that's why Register Scott was so concerned about security, why I'm so concerned about security.
Okay.
But most of the fraud happens before then.
Thank you. It's been a lesson. Thank you.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So my question is similar, but I know in the towns you can block electronic access to your records, tax records, and anything else that you have. Can you do that with the county so that they're not available online?
I don't believe so. Everyone was in line wanting us to be online, and so that is what Register Scott made sure happened. All the counties in New Hampshire are online. Some of them have, I think, better safeties than others. Though I'm not sure it's still true. A few years ago, you could, for instance, see the indices in some registries, but not the actual documents without paying a subscription fee. We are one that you can see everything.
So,
Follow.
So how would that be changed? If people in our county, because I hear about stuff like this all the time, if people in the county didn't want all their information available online, I don't know what you said, there's two choices. We make all the information available, so you can view the physical deed, right?
Well, because the recorded record is how the research is done to make it so that the property can be sold. Back when I started doing this, we all went to the registry every day and worked in, there was a computer, but I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I'll be meeting with the registers of deeds next month, and we'll talk.
Maybe you can get back to us.
I don't know how. I don't think it could happen on a per name. Like I don't think we could redact your documents, but I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thanks. Thanks for bringing that up, Representative Woodcock.
Huh? Yeah. Well, thank you. Just a follow-up.
Please.
Is that something our IT department that we just been talking about have any clue on?
No, they have their own outside vendor for their security.
Okay. Thank you.
Chair Representative Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you just mentioned subscription, that we don't do a subscription, and you thought that was a level of security?
At least that was my understanding, when I was doing searches, that would be a more secure way, just because people with ill intent would have to actually buy a yearly subscription or something in order to be able to see the documents in the county. Right now, you have to buy a subscription to be able to make copies from home or your office. But the registry's open 8 to 4.
What does a subscription cost?
Our yearly subscription to be able to make copies is $120. For instance, Merrimack County, I think, which is a monthly, is $40 a month. But that's only about making the copies. I believe you can see most documents, back to a certain time at all the registries in New Hampshire.
Okay. Yep.
I don't like it either.
One more question, sir.
Representative Woodcock.
Is it possible that you ask the Register of Deeds to come back after her convention and tell us what she learned about this security issue?
I would encourage as much conversation with her as needed on this topic, because it seems to be a topic.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You bet.
Seeing no further discussion on the budget of 578,225. Thank you, Representative Smith. Do we have a second from Representative Woodcock? Mr. Clark.
Okay, the motion is to approve the registry of deeds budget of $578,225. Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Costa.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Revenue. Quick overview of how that works for our new member.
Sure. Our revenue is based upon the recording fees, transfer tax, and L-chip that we take in, as well as the subscription fees and the postage. We get 4%, or the county gets 4% of the transfer tax and the L-chip fees, and so we pay that to the county every month.
Thank you.
Sure.
You are still comfortable with the $1,002,468, given the trajectory of April, January, and February?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we're still basically on track, we're a little above what the budget was, so we should be good. Had a good sale in Tamworth yesterday.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I look forward to that on our quarterlies.
Excellent.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Representative Woodcock, second.
I'll second.
Representative Brown, further discussion. Mr. Clerk.
I just need the final number that you have.
1002468.
Okay, the motion is to approve the registry of deeds revenue of $1,002,046.
No, $1,002,468. $648.
460. Did you say
468.
I know.
Page 2. On my revenue.
Okay, the motion is approved the registry of deeds revenue at $1,002,468.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Can you just fill us in on what is left on the project that we bonded a couple of years ago?
It's completed, now we're just paying.
Okay. Wonderful.
It's beautiful, stop in and see it.
I'm sure some people will. And we've took care of that expenditure already?
Yes. The bond is part of that.
I don't think you voted on that at the executive committee, that long-term debt. Let me double check.
No, we have to vote on it here, just want to make sure that it's still the same. For the registry project. Interest is 129. Balance is principal is 290. Is that correct?
Yep, that's what I have here.
That's what I have.
Thank you. Motion to approve the long-term debt of $290,000 for the registry.
I'll move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions? Just a quick overview of what we did for the new member.
Register Scott has refurbished all of the old books that were falling apart. I mean, it's really an amazing project. It's gorgeous. Come in and see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Don't say I don't see the books.
Okay, the motion is to approve the long-term debt for the registry in the amount of $290,000. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Interest expense, 129,275.
I'll move.
Representative Smith, Representative McDonald seconds. Any questions? We have principal and interest payments on the bond. Mr. Clerk, at your discretion.
Just the amount?
129,275.
Okay, the motion is to approve the registry interest expenses on the bond in the amount of $129,275. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. I think that's it for the registry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County facilities, Director Murray. Quick overview for our new member of what you do and who you are.
I'm Bob Murray, Director of Facilities. I keep the lights, heat, and air conditioning on around here.
When you can.
And everything else, and I play whack-a-mole. Fire, if something happens, we fix it.
Thank you.
The discussion with the executive committee had was for a overlay of 1 month for a position that is retiring. Is that this budget?
Correct.
We have a long-term employee retiring, we're bringing in a new employee, and we wanted some overlap for training.
Correct.
That is the only, other than electric and gas.
Yeah, electric and propane adjustments.
Yep, and then we adjusted for, I think that was it. Electric, propane, and the request for the additional.
Generator, I think.
The generator was another one we have to adjust. 267850.
I'll move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Questions for Director Murray on this budget? Mr. Clark?
Okay, the motion is to approve the county facilities budget of $267,850. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Sheriff, you're up. Oh, wait a minute. Anything else for you, Bob, for right now? Other than capital? Do you have capital in the annex or I'm sorry?
No capital in the
your-
annex, no. We
Capital
do.
somewhere else?
All my capital's at the nursing home, we discussed that already.
Anything else for you?
No. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And again, thank you for everything you do for us, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Sheriff, come on up. Do you want to talk about the contract real quick? Or you want to- Good to see you again, Sheriff.
Afternoon.
The Executive Committee had a robust discussion with the sheriff. We approved his contract. Through the contract process, it's a 3-year contract with some elevators in it. If the sheriff wants to touch briefly on that for our new member or the members that were not present for that discussion.
Sure. It's 3 years. The first year is the biggest type. Dispatch ranges from 18 to 14% raises, depending on how many years they are here. On the sheriff's side, it was jumps from 18 and 14, I believe.
I just want to add, as the chair, Leo's in absence, so I, as part of the subcommittee, requested wages of existing employees within the department. And it was actually shocking how underpaid they are. This contract is needed. This probably should have been done many years ago, but hence the large increase in the first year. It's absolutely required to get them where they need to be. And they're still not going to be at the top of the scale. They're going to be somewhere in the middle. So this contract should be passed by full delegation. But anyway, Sheriff, if you want to.
And then the second and third year are 5% across the board for both dispatch and sheriff deputies. And then there is a step up on the vacation time and being awarded a year before, basically, of what it is currently. So at the end of the first year, currently you get 5 days. At the new contract would, at the end of the first year, you would get 10 days. And then the second year you would get 15, where you were only getting 10. So it jumps up sooner, kind of levels off at the same spot though. Increments up to, I think it's 25 days and 20 years type of thing. So again, it's nothing over and above what is typical for careers, basically awarding vacation days.
Rep. Brown, your question?
I did, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, I trust Representative Smith in his analysis on it, but I'm curious about the average wages or salary that our sheriffs get compared to other members in the state, just to get in my head what those might be. Because I know on the other committee that I work on, we had a discussion about salary and the overall cost of their budget, so I'm just trying to figure out where we stand, maybe compared to the other counties. Just in general, I'm not looking for exact figures.
Yeah, I couldn't be specific, but we've always been behind the curve as far as starting wages. And every year we jumped up $1, $2, those other departments would jump up that same. So we're always running behind. And then we were not keeping up with career officers or dispatchers. So someone that was spending 15 to 20 years there was not getting anywhere near what the top officers in other towns or counties were getting. So
what I was meaning is, what's the general pay for our sheriff's deputies? 35,000, 45,000, 50,000. I have no idea.
You have $25 an hour starting up to $42 or $3 an hour. So you have a large range,
Right.
depending upon how many years of service.
But is it now competitive with that? Let's say at 25 is what the other
easiest comparison I could do right now, we're sending a dispatcher, now deputy, to the academy.
Right.
We started him out from coming off of dispatch. As a deputy, he's starting out at $24 an hour. Some of your towns are starting off at $30 an hour.
off the road. So this contract will get us comparatively, it won't get us there, but it will get us where it's at least non-embarrassing.
Yes.
Thanks.
I agree.
Questions here?
Representative Woodcock. Thank you, Representative
Do
Smith.
you speak with the local police department, or the local police department on you, or is that not even an issue?
Yes, we gained 2 years ago from Molten Bow.
Thank you.
We've lost 2 of them to, one to Sandwich and one to Tuftonboro.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yeah, we call it the Carroll County Shuffle. We all do it.
Sheriff's budget is $2,470,934. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Representative Woodcock. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion for the sheriff on his budget or contract? Right, we approved it.
Okay, the full delegation?
I think the delegation gave us the approval to approve the contract,
Okay, I don't-
so we wouldn't be waiting.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Mr. Clark, unless there was a question? Mr. Clark.
Okay, motion to approve the sheriff's department budget, Representative Woodcock, second by Representative Prophet, $2,470,934. Representative Taylor,
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Prophet.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
The sheriff's also responsible for the dispatch. For our new members, just want to give a quick overview of what that department does.
They dispatch for about 36 agencies in the county. We're a regional dispatch. We're one of the biggest in New Hampshire. The only 2 towns in Carroll County that have full-time dispatch right now are Conway and Wolfboro. Everyone else we pretty much dispatch for. Molten Bow does fire with Lakes Region and Sandwich also. That we are dispatching. So, there's 12 full-time employees, 24/7.
And the new contract brings him competitive with those other competing agencies.
Correct. Yeah, we were constantly losing dispatch. It was almost a revolving door. It's kind of quieted down. The younger generation is stepping up, which is good to see. Quick learners.
Okay. Questions on dispatch? 1211169. Thank you. Second?
Second.
Representative Woodcock and Smith.
Okay, the motion to approve the communications budget in the amount of $1,211,169. Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Prophet.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. We have revenue for you, sir.
Yes.
We did approve it at the executive committee. We did make some adjustments to it. Special details. We just want to touch on that real quick for the new member of what your office does for revenue.
Revenue, our main service is the process of writs, divorces, evictions, lawsuits. So we're the only ones in the state that can serve that, and there is a fee. Obviously, the reimbursement is what we are getting from those, the revenue that's coming in from attorneys or private citizens. The U.S. Forestry, we work a detail up there during the summer, so that is a grant that is paid for summer patrols on the Kank basically and up in the Notch area. Court bailiffs is fully reimbursable by the state, just per diem rate. Special details, those are commercial details primarily. The decrease in that was that a assignment that we had is going away, so that benefit will stop in July, so we'll only recoup half of what we had projected originally. That's why the decrease of $45,000. Albany agreement is a agreement to patrol the town of Albany certain times of the week. That's paid at a detail rate. Other income is basically miscellaneous income, whether it be from a court fine that alcohol is involved, that gets reimbursed to the county or towns, and it goes into the general fund. And also dispatch income is for the town of Tuftonboro at this time for their E-line is what it's called for communications. Wakefield may be seeing that also.
I would probably hope so. Done a lot of work down there. Motion to approve 370500.
So moved.
Woodcox and Smith. Any questions for the sheriff on his revenue? Mr. Clerk?
Okay, that motion is to approve the sheriff's revenue at $370,500. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. We have something else for you, Sheriff, don't we?
Capital.
We have to vote on something for your increase.
The increase in the writ service.
Yes.
It's an annual thing that you as legislators passed 2 years ago now.
Yep.
It's 3.4% on the base fee for writs of service. Again, this is not a tax debt. It's paid by those who are serving, attorneys, officers, or private citizens.
Does that need a specific motion, or is that just approval?
Just needs approval that you are authorizing a 2.4% rate increase.
Thank you. So moved. Representative Woodcock, Representative Smith.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk, you just want to give the new member what that is, what the
I've
fee?
experienced that.
You all good with that? Okay, understood. Mr. Clark?
In approval of the increased writ service of 3.4% on the base fee. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman? Approval passes 9-0.
Thank you. Sheriff has a request for two new cruisers?
One new cruiser.
One new cruiser and,
Give me two.
no, we're second pack, I didn't know if the new one was, you got one or two.
No, that's one. And also in the capital is a taser contract for 5 years.
Yep.
The first year is about $4,700, and then additional years after that for 4 years would be $10,000.
Okay.
And then it also includes the grant, the highway safety grant, which is about, again, $4,900, which will give us 4 radars, us paying for one with 3 additional radars, and working details for the Department of Safety, patrolling the highways for safety.
Okay, and that's in your capital expenditure?
Correct.
So there'll be some pass-through grant money coming through?
Yes.
I always like hearing that. Motion to approve $70,000 for the sheriff and his capital expenditures.
Move. Second.
Second by Representative Woodcock. Any further discussions for on that for the sheriff. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, the motion is to approve the capital expenses for the sheriff in the amount of $70,000. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes?
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. Would you mind sticking around?
No?
Thank you.
I'll be good. I'll stay in line. I'll be good. I'll stay in line. That was nice.
Next, corrections, come on up. Mr. King, Superintendent King.
Good afternoon.
You're comfortable.
Figured. It's a good thing we're putting a new jail roof on, because I just got a text saying we got a 15-foot section of metal that is blown off the roof, so.
Should we let Superintendent Murray know?
He gone. I don't know where he went. Yeah. Hopefully, my guys think it might just be a drip edge, so that shouldn't be a problem, but it's something more than that. Luckily, it's not gonna rain over the weekend.
Either way, we don't want anything happening over that. All right. The executive committee heard, made some adjustments and some increases. One was salaries. One was electrical and propane. And let's see. I think those are the three that were stuck out the most. Just want to do a quick overview for the new member, Mr. King, Superintendent King.
Yep, so we're responsible for care, custody, and control of all inmates, pretrial and sentenced. Any crime that starts in this county starts at our jail. So we hold them until they're found guilty, and if they're found guilty on misdemeanors, they stay with us. If they found sentenced to state prison for felonies, they go away. So all of our costs are to run the entire building and provide food, clothing, and security to all inmates.
Did you want to visit?
No, just curious on,
You can stay overnight.
do we rent out the facilities to other counties that have an overflow in this county?
Yes. So we currently have, excuse my sunglasses, I have vision stuff, I know I've said before, but just so don't. So currently we have contracts with Rockingham County at $57.50 a day. I just renegotiated with Stratford County up to $60 a day. And we have a women's state prisoner contract at $58.50 per day. I'm still working on establishing that same contract with the men's state prison. Our current housing, we have 47 in-house, 3 transfers that we've sent out for various reasons to other jails, but we contracted people currently in my building today. We have 11 Rockingham, 1 women's state prison, and 6 Stratford County inmates. We had 8, but all these numbers fluctuate day to day as people get released, and then there's the other people, get more available to send our way.
Very good, thank you.
Stratford County, I think in February, I just signed a check, or not a check, but an invoice for $4,500 just in 1 month, and we never had Stratford before, so.
Representative Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we're hearing a lot about ICE, obviously, and New Hampshire taking some of the inmates from them. Are we contracted with the feds to do that?
So it's actually on my list for next week with the commissioners. It'll be up to them, but currently, no. We do have a federal marshal hold contract, but I didn't write that down. I think it's like $75 or $80 a day. And there's also current legislation in New Hampshire, which at the superintendent's group last week, the original language of the bill, which was in one of the committees, I'm not sure which one, but was asking us to take fed inmates for up to 48 hours to allow ICE to come get them. The superintendents and all agreed that we don't want to do that because we're going to absent state charges, that's what they're talking about. Hold, if we get an ICE person in with state charges, those state charges resolve in some way. At that point, New Hampshire, ICE says you get 48 hours to come pick them up. Right now, if we know ahead of time that people are gonna have resolving charges for the state, we go, hey, you might wanna get here like in an hour, because there's nothing that keeps us to hold them. There was a lawsuit a number of years ago from the ACLU, because people were holding without contracts. So, as of right now, and it'll be up to the commissioners to decide, the superintendents pushed back and said, put language in, if we have an agreement, we'll hold them. If not, you can't force us to, state legislature. So it'll be up to the commissioners to, when I present that to them next week, whenever their meeting is. And we can do a 48-hour rider on our current marshal's contract. That is a thing. Merrimack County has just done that. So if that's the decision, I'll reach out to them and figure out how that goes. I don't, again, up to the commissioners, have any interest in long-term ICE holds. Rockingham is going through that whole process to hold up to 100. It is a huge revenue, however, the long-term holds, I'm told, is like a 100-page document with all kinds of different requirements for how they need to be housed and who they can be housed with and all that stuff. From what I understand, again, I haven't seen the paperwork, the rider to at least hold for that 48 hours after the end of state charges is like a 3 or 4 page document, and it pretty much mirrors what the marshals require, is what I've been told. I haven't laid my own eyes on it. So if that's a direction the commissioners choose to go and we do that contract, then hopefully it'll be a fairly, it doesn't affect us very much currently. We have 2 people that have ICE detentions on them, but they're 2 people that likely are going to the state prison, that they're never going to leave. So that 48 hours only comes into effect when they're about to leave. So it shouldn't affect us at all, and with our current 2 people. Now, people start coming in with disorderly conduct, or something minor, then we could get stuck in that going, hey, come get them if we don't have a contract. Or if we get the contract, we could hold them 48 hours, weekends and holidays excluded, of course. So that's in the pipe.
Thank you.
Representative Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have a question that the people that will get transfers from Rockingham County or Stratford or where we transfer people to other counties, is that so they can be closer to family members or something like that, or is it just because of overflow they don't have it, or because they want them out of that particular geographic area for a reason?
When we send people out, it's typically because there's a conflict. It might be, like right now we have a person at the state prison that has been to every county jail, but he's still ours, pre-trial. The victim of his crimes are my employees' sisters. So, or if we have someone that makes repeated PREA violations, the Prison Rape Elimination Act, basically sexual harassment against our officers, we'll say, look, of course, thank God have never been founded allegations, but we would ship them out and say, hey, you need a new window to look out. We take in whoever they'll give us, especially with our contracts. Stratford, I reached out to redo that because of the whole ICE thing. There, Stratford holds 99% of the federal inmates in the state. So I said, hey, if you're willing to give me some sentenced Stratford inmates to make room for those immigration people, absolutely, and he was all for it. So, so far so good with that. But same with Rockingham, we have that contract to take all their women. The only ones we don't currently take is people that are on methadone, because we're not a provider of methadone, or that may be changing as well. So, hopefully that explains your answer.
Paul, so what's our typical population and what's the jail size for?
The jail is sized for 131 beds. Our staffing allows for, our staffing levels, which we're full staff, the way our staffing is set up allows for 76 would be our comfortable max. Our average, although 24 was down, our average is mid-50s.
Thank you.
I'm trying to fill us up to the point of, with contracts, to get us closer to that 76 mark. Anything over that, again, would be tough on my staff. And it would also affect our medical contracts and stuff like that, so.
Speaking of that, how did you do with
Prime care.
Prime Care?
So, good and bad.
Give me the bad first.
Well, the bad part, well, I don't know if it's bad. The solution that I've come up with, what I think is the most reasonable, is what I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Yep.
I did speak to the president and vice president and about some issues we've been having with funneling bills and tracking money and stuff like that. So, for those of you that don't know, we contract, I think this year it's 1.15 million for Prime Care Medical, a company based out of Pennsylvania. They have like 70 plus facilities across the Northeast. So they provide nursing coverage for us. As a part of our contract, we pay a monthly contract. As a part of that 1.1 million per year, $70,000 is built into that for any outside medical costs. So anything that costs outside of our building. So we do have a doctor that comes in. Again, there's staffing to nurses from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So the overnight there isn't anybody. And we also have a health services administrator who's also a nurse, but like the head nurse. So currently the $70,000, what we call our catastrophic cost, that's within that 1.5 million. So anytime they go out to a specialist, our in-house doctor says, this guy needs to go out and see an orthopedist because he's got a bad back, whatever the situation is. That comes out of that catastrophic. Anytime someone needs an x-ray, that comes out of the catastrophic. Any medications provided comes out of the catastrophic. Any dentist comes out of the catastrophic. So, as it stands right now, every year, we end up paying more than $70,000 in catastrophic costs, which, again, it's budgeted in the line for 1.5 million for the monthly cost for our staffing, plus that 70,000. Every year, we end up with overage. So last year, it's a little funky the way it runs, because our contract runs 24-25, so my 24-25 contract does not end until May 23rd. No idea why that happened. That was before me.
I can fill you in on that if you want.
Okay.
It was when we were having trouble with filling those positions. We had a gentleman here for, I don't want to say dependency issues, and we were not meeting that need, which is why we brought Prime Care in as soon as possible.
Okay, all right. So basically you couldn't wait to get...
Right, we couldn't, there was no timeline on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had to act fast, we had a budget for it early on. I think some of us were here for that.
Okay.
Yep.
So May 24th, so I'm currently still using my 24-25 money. So when I looked back at 22/23, it was, sorry, 23/24, I'm sorry, that total catastrophic costs, so what is already in the line, then we had to fish for, within the budget, line transfer wise, for that particular contract year, another $67,000. So we paid a total cost of like 136, and my math might be screwed up with the 67, but the total cost with the 70 included in the contract, and then what we had to line transfer into that line to pay that extra cost was 136,000. The year before was the first year it came in, and at that time our catastrophic cost I think was 50,000, and even then we paid 89,000 total cost. So we're still 30, 40 over. So what I'm proposing today, because this really came in the face for this 24 budget when we ended up with 5,000 on the bottom line and had to borrow from the commissioners to cover that added cost. And again, that's still open. Currently I only have 10 grand left, and I know I have a guy that has some heart issues that's had an ablation, he has to have an MRI. He's potentially, he has an aortic something or other. He's at 30% usage of his heart, so we're in trouble. cost-wise. So my proposal is to add 80,000 to the medical line, period. So that would leave me between the 70 in the contract and the 80 additional, 150 grand. On a normal year, absent somebody that I just described, or we had a guy that potentially, thank God we got out of it, potentially needed 150 grand just in medication. So absent circumstances like that, I'm quite certain, unless our population goes way up, which we can't control, that 150 in a normal year would cover our complete medical cost.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That is line 025.
Yes, 025. So my proposed would be, let's see, I wrote it all down here somewhere.
1230.
Yes, so it's currently 1150000. If you add the 80, it'd be the 1230000. And the new bottom line number, if you wanted that, would be 6465874.
6465784.
874. 6465874. And I did speak with the county attorney about this particular guy with the heart issues, and he is seemingly towards the end of when he's going to be sentenced, and he could no longer be our problem because he is there for felonies. But when that happens is at the call of the court, obviously. So could be 6 months, could be next week. I don't know. Obviously, if this guy has a major issue. So I do take in consideration, try to reach out and do what I can to get people out of here that cost us big money. But in the end, we're at the call of the court, right? So, and if I have a heads up, when they do first come in, we do have the ability to put them out on monitoring now. On a as-needed basis. I don't have a quote-unquote pre-trial release program, but people like this, whatever their issue may be, if they're safe for the community, this guy would not be, but if they're safe for the community, I would consider putting them out on that, because that's a very minimal cost.
So just for our new members and some that are here, when they walk in our doors, no matter if they have health insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, blah, 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 we are responsible for their medical bills.
Medication, x-rays, all of it.
Representative Carroll.
How come we don't charge, if they have Medicaid or Medicare, why aren't we allowed to charge them for those services?
So we are in certain circumstances. And I don't pretend to know the details, and it's all changing currently because I've had a couple meetings with state representatives and things in the last few weeks across the board for all the county corrections. There is some available. Medicaid is shut off within 20 days of them coming in. So after that, it's on us. Medicare, which this guy does have, and there's some difference whether it's taken out of your Social Security check or if it's taken out of your bank account that allows payment and non-payment. I don't know. But I haven't seen a bill for anything for this guy yet, so I'm assuming that to this point it's been paid. But it all depends on circumstances of the individual that I can't control. And it does sound, like I said, the state legislature is heavily involved in trying to figure this all out.
I just have one more question.
Follow-up, Representative Crawford.
Thank you. So I'm just looking at your budget, and I know you're fairly new. Can you just give me an overview, without me going through every line, when I subtract what was budgeted in '24 and '25, which was $5,550,016, and I subtract it from, what you're asking,
Yep, there's a simple answer to that.
Oh, thank you. Because
The
it's,
reason we were only at $5,000 left on our bottom line this year is because at some point when we were super shorthanded, this body cut positions. When the previous superintendent, thank God, we got a new contract, got people to come, and now we're full staffed, those positions never got funded again. I don't know whose issue it was, where the blame lies, doesn't matter. That's a significant portion of the increase. Because in my lines, beside my salary lines, there are very little increases for our day-to-day operations. I think my biggest increase is a $30,000 software thing. I know your favorite subject today. And that's because our contract with Secures providing our stuff, they got rid of our old program. Now the cost will be on us, and it's $28,000. Plus we have software for the inmate law library that we have to provide. We have some online training program called Relias that our officers utilize. So stuff like that. That's my biggest increase. All the rest is I pretty much put in market adjustment to try to cover, things being more expensive, uniforms, inmate clothing, bedding, all that stuff. And of course, the electrical program was way under budgeted, as you've heard. So
We took care of that.
yeah.
All right. Superintendent's made a request, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
To increase the medical line,
$1,230,000.
1,123,000. Commissioners, have you looked at this?
We are aware of it, and we know the situation. We had one potential issue that could have cost us a lot of money.
Yes. A couple of years ago, we had a gentleman that needed $50,000 shots.
This one was more. This one was a lot more than that.
Yep.
So far we're okay.
And typically, those situations, they're gonna need to be appropriated to a special line or a special transfer in or something. And typically I know those as soon as they walk through the door.
We will, next year, it'll be on our list to segregate that out for you, so we have some sort of tracking for you.
That'd be great, because again, this is my first building of the budget, and coming from whatever the mess that it was,
Yep.
I would love to get more accuracy. I am gonna be reviewing quarterly my expenditures. So hopefully next year at this time, I have a fairly nailed down budget for you.
That's what I like. I just want to make sure that we have what you need. We give you what you need to make sure you have what you need.
I'm comfortable
That
with
makes sense.
what's here, yes, absolutely. And again, that 150 is always subject to change, but a normal year, that should be good.
Yeah, so if you don't use it, it comes back.
Correct, right. Whereas if we gave all that money to Crime Care to manage for us, it doesn't all come back.
No, it does not. That was the first
They
year.
keep like 80% of it or something, which is crazy.
There was a question in our first year on that.
So we've always spent it out, so it's never mattered. I don't want to give them another 80, and if we don't use it, they're keeping our money for free. No, thank you.
The new number is 6465874. Slow down.
Yeah, I just have a motion to
Oh.
increase that line.
Oh.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, Smith and Brown. Mr. Clark?
Good thing.
Okay, the motion is to increase the medical line in the corrections budget to $1,230,000.
Disturbing.
Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Crawford.
yes.
Chair votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. New bottom line is 6465874. Thank you.
I'll second.
6465874. Smith, Crawford? Any further questions for the superintendent?
I just have a quick question.
Representative McDonald, when you are ready.
The we took some money away from White Horse. They said they provided some services for you.
Yes.
You're gonna be able to survive without those services, or do you need some money to carry that on, or?
Well, I hope they're not gonna cut those services because of that cut in there. So the transportation is the biggest thing, because when people get what we call PR to treatment, so the court says, you're here, you sit here, and when you get accepted to a treatment program for drugs or alcohol, then it converts to personal recognizance, so you're allowed to walk out the door. They're no longer inmates. So they get in the car with Whitehorse and go off to the treatment program. So I have no way legally, nor would I volunteer the county's cruiser or money to bring these people to treatment. So that is a vital piece of us. I hope they're not going to cut anything. The classes also would hurt, not as much. I'm sure we could find, hopefully, other people around to take that spot. But I hope they don't cut any of it, because it's vital to our operation. Our inmate programs has expanded in the last 2 years from like 2 or 3 to like 15. And it's great, and that's the directions correction is going to, and I support it. So I really hope that they don't cut our services because the county has cut their money.
Paul, you said they come out of the jail, they're PR'd, White Horse takes them away to wherever White Horse.
Yep.
After that, you don't see them after that, right? They're gone. They're out of they go do their thing with White Horse.
Well, they're not going to Whitehorse, they're getting rides from Whitehorse to community partners that we work with. Sometimes they gotta go to Manchester, because it's not, I don't know, I don't even think there's any what do they call it? Inpatient or in-house treatment programs in this county where they live there and get the treatment. So my programs people could talk to you more specifically, but they go all over the state, and that's when he was talking about they drive hundreds of miles a week. They do. So.
But the only service you provide is you bring them out to the town, they go with White Horse, and they take them to wherever, and you never see them again, hopefully.
Hopefully, unless they violate their orders, but yes. Because once they're PR'd, they're no longer my purview.
Okay.
So if they get out of the van or they walk off when they get there, it's just unfortunate because my programs people put in a ton of work to get these things to get in motion and get accepted, so. I'd hate to lose that and then lose all that work that my employees have done, but that'll be up to them.
Representative Brown.
So, would you propose a line item for education or transportation or something for that, since they are out of they're transferred, you're doing training or treatment for these people while they're in the jail? Would it be appropriate to put a line on it in for that training or the services that we're providing, rather than continue to have them just as inmates? Because I don't object to people getting the services. What my concern is that if it's a service that we're providing through the jail, that should be covered through the jail cost item.
So we
Or if
do
we
have
transport, same thing. If that's what has to be provided to move them out of the jail, then I'd be agreeable to something like that. But it should be in the jail system.
We do have an inmate programs line, so it does cover the stuff we do have to pay for inmate programs, but it doesn't include, because I'm not aware of anybody that transports, like, a cab could cost $400 to go one way. So that's going to be thousands. It's easier to pay them $20 than it is to do it on a case-by-case basis at $400 or $500 a ride, in my opinion.
Follow-up?
I guess there should be more discussion on that to see how we should handle that, maybe through the commissioners, to see what's appropriate to make sure we, provide the appropriate services. If it's affecting the county, and it's the right way to do it, we should do it. But I just don't know what that is, so I guess I just asked the commissioners to look into that, maybe come back with a recommendation. I don't know if you agree with that, Chairman.
I don't, but you can certainly ask.
I agree with the chairman.
Okay.
Representative Woodcock.
They were talking $2, I think he said $2.50 a mile. But how is that charged out?
No idea. I don't pay for any of it. I
Okay,
don't pay
so
for
that's-
their
that's what he-
caseworker that teaches class, nor do I pay for their transportation at the moment. It's paid by the delegation on that nonprofit money.
Okay, so okay. So they could choose to use part of the money for that, for sure. Okay,
I don't know.
okay. So you
Follow-up?
lose. I'm sorry, yeah,
Please.
thank you. So any costs associated with that person you have in your facility for that day, once they're taxied out, they're done?
For the cost of me, correct. So that transportation has never fallen on me.
Okay, so you just close, wait a minute, but it closes that case for that, okay. 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 Thank you.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just clarifying, when they're released under PR, they're no longer your problem.
Correct.
Then they're no longer our problem at the delegation. We should move on from this discussion.
But they are,
We should, however, I understand the superintendent's
I respectfully disagree with that point.
apprehension because he needs to get off our complex. And we do not provide
And all the
that.
work that's been provided by my case people to
Right.
get all that set up, if they just go, walk off,
Follow up.
Okay.
Just
Follow up, Representative Smith.
I respect that opinion, but the point is, you're not willing to fund renting a taxi or an Uber.
that's up to you
Well,
guys.
no, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
the cost is not realistic. So my point is, when someone's getting released, they have to make arrangements to get picked up, walk, buy an extra pair of shoes. At some point, our responsibility is done, and that's what I'm saying.
And that's so far been picked up by the community. So how they want to dole that out and say, no, thank you, we're not doing that to the jail, that's their problem, I guess. If they say that the cut that you did earlier affects that, then that's out of my hands.
Representative Woodcock.
thank you. Is there a requirement of who you use that person for?
No. Just a sober, well,
No, 'cause I mean, I don't mean the facility you're going to, it's not the person for the transport.
yeah, as long as they're legally licensed to drive, I don't care who they go with. They could have their mother, their brother, their father, whoever. But typically in those cases, they don't get to the programming, so.
Okay.
But again, I understand everyone's point where it's not our problem, he's not our inmate, but it is sort of because we've done all the work to set it up,
If he doesn't go, it's your city,
then it's just a revolving door.
One more question.
Follow up, please.
About how many people we talking a year?
Oh geez, I don't have the stats, but a lot. I mean, the county attorney could probably chime in on PR to treatment, it happens quite a bit.
Sheriff, you want to chime in as well?
I think we're missing the point that if they don't get the treatment, if they say, no, I'm not going, they're gonna visit the court again, and they're probably gonna end up back in the jail on a hold, so.
Thank
It's
you.
up to them to get to the treatment once they're approved.
Okay. All right. 6465874 is the motion. We have some spirited discussion.
I'll move that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded already. Mr. Crawford. Motion to approve is in order. Any further discussion? Questions? Mr. Clerk.
Okay, the motion to approve the correction budget, $6,455,874. Representative Carroll.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. I think that the commissioners will be taking a look at this department over the next year with you, and I look forward to some changes.
Excellent.
Now you have, don't go just yet. You have some, I think we have revenue, and we also have capital for you this year?
I don't think I have any capital. If it is, it's a misprint, because I didn't.
Yep, no, I don't see any. Perfect, it was last year.
Next year I'll have some.
Well, actually, it was a $13,065 request.
That was for a base radio, and that was ordered under last year's capital, so.
Thank you.
And the revenue, I know
We discussed it at the,
210, I think I'm at 150, and I think our actual is like 176, so until I get a better idea of.
Yes, we
full
have you at
year's worth.
151.
Yeah,
You're happy with that?
yes.
Motion to approve 151 for revenue for the jail. Thank you, Representative Smith, second by Representative Crawford.
You did.
Any further questions? We've covered all three of them.
You have a question?
Representative Woodcock.
I'm looking at the revenue and it says the commissary part is not included in this.
No, because the county does not get revenue from commissary. That goes directly into an inmate fund. It's held in, we hold the bank account, which is interest bearing, and goes directly back to the inmates for inmate purposes only.
Okay.
It's actually against the law to include it in the budget.
Correct. It shouldn't be part of the general fund, because it's a revolving account for use for you guys to anticipate, or people are participating in, I don't say work release, but working on behalf of the jail, you guys can credit their commissary accordingly.
We buy the TVs for the units, we buy exercise equipment for them, we buy ping pong tables, like anything that is for them is purchased out of their money.
I was just thinking about transportation.
Not ours.
Not transportation, though.
Well, it's their transportation, it's their program.
Could be.
I can explore that too.
Motion to approve. Any further discussion? Been motioned and seconded. Mr. Clark.
Okay, the motion is to approve the corrections revenue of $151,000. Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Department of Public Works is next. We're going to do BEAS while we're sitting here, 4449. Representative Bucco motions.
I'll second. EAS, page 14.
Yes. Uh, 5644493.
Top of 14.
Top of 14.
I don't see the right number. Oh, 5,644,493.
Correct. Thank you for that motion, seconded by Representative Smith. This is for our new member. This is a service that the state provides for our elderly population, where we get some sort of notification for what it is, and we shell out that dollar. We did hold it hostage once, and it did not go well. All right.
Let's just say yes.
Yes, so one of those mandatory things. Motion has been made and seconded. Motion is at the will of the clerk.
Okay, this is to approve the BEAS in the amount of $5,644,049. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
He's always quiet.
DPW?
What?
The executive committee met with the DPW director. The request was an add for an extra employee. We conditionally approved upon further review. Representative Brown.
I misunderstand what you're asking.
I think the commissioners have we're going to take a look at that department this year.
We are.
So we would like to remove that position that we approved at the executive committee. You do have somebody currently there
We have an intern
till,
till the end of the quarter, so end of this month.
okay. Do we have that new number with the removal of that employee?
I wasn't aware. until right now, so I can work on that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, can we go over that?
Certainly.
I'm recalling and I'm probably wrong, but I'm recalling some of the conversation around his staffing and the intern leaving and going to be short-staffed. So I'm wondering why even though the commissioners are looking at the department, as they are all departments, I hope, that we will reduce the staff.
It'll be the same staff, we're not reducing staff.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Please.
I don't think that's 100% accurate, because in the past budgets, we had per diem and some part-time people.
Right.
So if we got rid of those and combined it into the full-time, so if we take out just that full-time, then we're gonna be short because we're not gonna have the per diem or the part-time stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of a little bit of both.
Brings me back to my same comment. Remember the dialogue last time, just listening when the executive committee was meeting. I'm just concerned that we're understaffed for a department that is takes care of the entire campus with limited equipment and limited supplies and limited staff. And it's always going. I think it's an error if we start cutting that when he's taken, sort of like Mike's talking about the computer piece, took 2 or 3 part-time pieces, and made one, and now we're taking that one away, and he doesn't have the part-time pieces either. So he at least staff at least halfway, something to leave him with some staffing. That's my concern.
And we can take that into consideration. What was the request for the additional? What was the additional request to add a new position from the current staffing level?
For dollar amount, or, yeah, the $26 an hour position, $52,458.
Thank you. And that will leave some money in there for summer projects.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking, Mr.
That'll
Chairman.
leave you some money in there for some part-time help for the summer?
If you take 54,000 out,
That was the request for the new employee.
yeah, you're taking the person out, then I'm not gonna have anything. So I don't understand your question, sir. If you wanna take 54,000 out, no, I'm gonna be shorthanded for the summertime.
There's no part-time positions or per diems currently in the budget. It's 3 full-time people.
What was in last year's budget? Because I see
The first-
165 for last year.
Yeah.
And that was 2.5 positions plus per diems.
I'd have to defer to Will. What were you budgeted for last year?
We had 2 full-time positions. We had 1 per diem in the wintertime that was 10 hours a week, 1 per diem in the summertime that was 16 hours a week, 1 summertime help for about 3 months full-time, plus 1 what I refer to as high school kids, weed whacking, the kinds of things we have them do, labor in there last year.
Okay.
And we got rid of all those for the full-time position.
The only other thing is the first quarter is a paid intern, so I can't cut it completely out. So it'll take me just a few more minutes then, if I'm only doing 9 months.
So there's a question.
Yeah,
Sure,
Representative
she's doing
Whitcomb.
that.
Yeah.
So on the salary line right now, you have 217. Is your thinking that you're taking that initially, that 54 out of 217, is that
That's my initial thought.
Okay.
If I'm incorrect.
Okay,
we'll
that's
make the
where it's
adjustment.
come from, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think some of the ideas that commissioners are going to come up with for that department are pretty good. And all corresponding lines too.
I'm working on it.
We adjusted the electricity and gas. That was also part of the increase, a little increase in the septic removal. Sand and salt, you guys use a lot this year? Are you guys still on that number?
No, we're not above average, we're still on the average.
Still the average?
Yeah. And just to inform you of misinformation that I think you had, is we're actually down on what we proposed for septic removal is down. I know it shows 24,000 last year, but that's because a whole bunch of transfers came out of it. We actually, for the 2024 budget, budgeted 32,000, and I'm only budgeting 30,000 for 2025, so it's actually a $2,000 reduction.
I have 30 and 30 on my sheet, so I don't see a reduction, I just see an even number. Last year you were over, we had to transfer in $2,200 because you were over on it.
All right. Looking at the budgets I had before was 32. We did have to transfer in the 22 because early December we took out 6,000 almost for transfers. That put us down to 24,000-ish. And then late December we had a whole bunch of unexpected pumping because of some failures, and we had to move back to 22 or whatever figure that you said.
Yep.
Chairman, do I get a chance to tell the new members about what our department
Of
is?
course.
Oh, great,
Please.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, currently, as we're discussing, we're a two-man department that does all the plowing for 24/7 on this complex. We do all the mowing, pretty much everything outside that you see, we do that. We take care of the water department, which takes care of the complex, plus approximately 50 customers down in the village. We also, which we're licensed for, we're also licensed wastewater operators. And so all of the sewage, wastewater on the complex, we have a plant down here that we manage. And then we also, the county has about 894 acres. That's under my department for management. We do use the county forester often for a lot of managed woodlots throughout that. And then we have about 70 acres of hay here that we currently, hay fields that we currently do hay. Whether that will continue, it's still in the discussion on that, but either way, there's property that has to be maintained there. So that is what we, in our department, does, that we're looking at with this budget.
Thank you.
Do we have those numbers, Ms. Stevens?
Almost. Sorry, we're having a cross-reference for benefits and things. Second.
Good time.
While we're waiting, we'll look at the long-term debt. While we're here, registry project we approved, we're on page 14 and 15. Total is 554,426.
I'll move that.
Thank you. You have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So the second, the energy upgrade is the Siemens upgrade that we did for all of the buildings. That should be coming to a close relatively soon.
I'm doing math. The Siemens project?
Yep. Thought we had a 10-year on that one, or 7-year or 8-year?
Bob's not here. Is he? No.
No, but the nursing home and HR and deeds can go if you guys need to go work. We're all set with your budgets if you guys need to go. We can always hang out too. We like having fun.
I'm enjoying the company.
All right.
I'll go home and I'll be by myself.
You can go next door and hang out.
554-426
either.
is the motion. Oh, wait a minute, yep, good, yep, sounds good. Mr. Clerk?
I've lost you.
554-426.
Long-term debt.
Page 15.
Page 15,
That
John.
would help us on page. Okay.
He shuts down at 4, just so you know.
We're running a little long, we also have something else we need to do.
No.
Okay, the motion is to accept long-term debt of $554,422. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Well, that does not seem right. That's not right. There it is. Page 20. At the bottom, we have 2 for the bond for the nursing home. Motion to approve interest expense 287,895.
I'll move.
Thank you.
A second.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready.
One more time on the number, please.
287,895.
Yeah, I got 3 or 4 over here. Okay, the motion is to approve 287,895 in the, what do you call it? Interest expense.
Yes, for the MVC bond. For the new people, we renegotiated that a few years ago. We saved almost $1 million in interest by renegotiating that and moving it down to a lesser interest rate. We've also accelerated the payments. Added an accelerator, I think we saved 3 years on the back end. So,
Okay, Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
yes,
Motion passes 9-0.
thank you. Long-term debt, principal payment of $1 million.
I'll move.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Smith Brown?
That doesn't sound right.
Brown Smith?
Okay, Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. 2, 3. Do we have those numbers yet, Ms. Siemens?
Do you just want the bottom line?
I would like the bottom line.
366,721. 366,721.
And that still leaves enough in there for what needs to be, because that looks like it's a little tight against last year's budget.
I think so.
Yeah, we can revisit it if we need to.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take a look at that.
You want to take a little more look at that? All right, well, we will approve it for now. If we need to reconsider, we can reconsider on the 21st.
Thank you.
366721, motion to approve
I'll move.
with all corresponding lines. in our next meeting. Second? Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, so that is the, going back to that 2117 salary line, so that's taking out that one employee.
That one, but one additional ask, yes. Not the whole employee, just the additional the additional ask to have that employee become a full-time employee. We left in some part-time, we also left in some per diem.
But he's still kind of short staff. I don't understand, we wouldn't short the sheriff's office, we wouldn't short corrections, we need another guard, we need another employee, we need another. Why are we gonna do that with the facilities, the labor, they only have 2.5 people on this facility? And they've taken X amount of hours that they use staffing to do that, and we're saying, well, you guys, well, no, I don't get it. For you guys, you don't.
I think the commissioners are gonna make enough changes this year to alleviate his work. Follow up, Charlie?
No, I just don't, I don't have any faith in the commission doing that. The grass is gonna grow in May.
It certainly
It's gonna
will.
grow in the summer. They aren't gonna do it. They sure as hell aren't gonna mow it. They aren't gonna shovel the snow. The two guys work around the clock. I mean, it just, I don't get it.
Understood.
I'm not surprised if you already know it, if I guess. Hopefully anyone else who has to mow the lawn or shovel the snow.
I understand your position, Representative Woodcock. Motion to approve 366721.
I'll move.
Thank you. Representative Smith? Oh, do we already have it? Smith, Belcher already moved?
We already did it after that.
All right, any further discussion? We'll let the commissioners take a look at this. Mr. Clark?
Okay, approve the Department of Public Works online budget of $366,721. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Belcher? Representative Brown?
I do have confidence in the commissioners, yes.
Thank you. Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
No.
Okay, sir. Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-1.
Thank you. Capital expenditures for your department. Further discussion with the commissioners?
I haven't had a discussion about any of this with commissioners, sir, so what you guys
We're
probably
going to be
know.
holding off on your request for your track machine.
I did hear that they're holding up on that.
Yep. And what else was in there?
We had an additional lawnmower.
Do we have enough lawnmowers to handle what we have right now?
You're asking me, the commissioner?
You.
Oh, we got to, yes, I guess we'll have to get by the best we can.
Thank you. So what is your bottom line in your DPW capital expenditure?
I guess 0, I don't
You
know.
don't have any, you must need something that we can approve.
I need a full-time person, but no, I don't know. Nothing, those are 2 items I had, and you guys, I believe the commissioners took the stuff for the sewer over to the ARPA funds.
Yes, we did discuss that.
Yeah, so those were my only 2 items.
All right, thank you. Income from revenue for your hay, is that going to happen this year?
I don't know. I haven't been informed yet of whether we're going to be moved forward with that or not.
So we should zero out that line, leave $1 in that line?
I would think so, because we at least have hay in the barn that we're selling.
You
so-
do, you're going to say you have some left over from last year, we're going to have to account for it somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
What happens if you don't pay? I mean, what happens, I mean, what does that look like if you don't? I mean, your field's just gonna be overgrown and,
Eventually they would, yes, ma'am.
You don't have anybody to cut it, Carol, you just cut them.
If you leave fields, you mow them once, it's very good for wildlife, without paying. Correct. That's actually what's lacking in this area, is open fields that grow wild, can I speak?
Well, if you certainly.
That grow wildflowers, all kinds of plant-
A little too late.
Animals get the nest in there, there's all kinds of benefits to not mowing fields, so that's actually a positive for the environment.
So you leave the front lawn, great.
Huh?
Leave the front lawn that way too, at least.
It's true. No, it's true.
Hand up.
Please, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Sally.
Yes. I'm just curious, you mentioned you provide septic service for 20 people in town. There's no income from that?
It's closer to 50, sir, but that's...
Oh, 50, I'm sorry.
It doesn't go, we have a water, there's an actual water income line, and there always used to be. So that's different than DPW's revenue.
Oh, it's somewhere else, okay, sorry.
Yep, we don't provide sewer service, we only provide water.
Right, and the sewer is just here on the complex.
Thank you.
And while we're here, water department income is Representative Smith.
No, Richard's got it.
Representative Brown.
Just to follow up, as I was on the lands committee last year, and we talked about haying, whether we would continue to do haying, maintain the equipment and all that, or whether we would do that with outside service or contract it to another farmer, or lease the fields for hay to another farmer. Have the commissioners discussed that at all? Because I know we've suspended the lands committee, but that was something that we were having active conversations with the commissioners about how we would manage the field, as Representative Smith mentioned.
We're working with UNH right now, but as it stands right now, it's still an open discussion as to whether we're going to hay them or not.
So you're just looking at, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just try to answer your question, Representative Brown.
Yeah.
Commissioners did go out twice to look for anybody in the local area, and we didn't get any responses back. But they did advertise two different types of the year, looking for that, and didn't come up with any.
Okay. Thanks.
Representative McDonald.
A lot of people depend on that hay in the county, so I hope they make a decision fairly quickly, because they'll have to look for a replacement. How much hay do you sell a year? I mean, 1,000 bales?
Oh, well, when we did square bales, it was back in around 8,000-9,000 square bales. Since we've gone to round bales, it's about 500 round bales and 1,000 to 2,000 squares.
So it's going to have to, someone's going to have to make that up in the community.
Yep. On page 1, on revenue 25.5 for water for 50 customers. Please.
Move that.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Just want to give them a quick overview of how we collect that. Just to the new member.
Excuse me, yes. We, I don't know the numbers because I don't do the billing, that's done in the finance office, but we read the water meters quarterly, and then, so they're charged per 100 gallons, and then there is also a quarterly $100 charge just for being hooked up for that service as well, and so those get done quarterly.
Thank you.
So we charge a $100 hookup fee every quarter?
No, it's a $100, not a hookup fee, but I don't know what they call it in the...
Base rate?
The base rate, thank you. $100 base rate per quarter, and then usage on top of that.
We should be getting more than 25.5 in income.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Please.
We will be revisiting that.
Thank you. All right. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions? Mr. Clark.
Okay, the motion is to accept the water department revenue in the amount of $25,500. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. All right, we are going to stop for today. Don't anybody go anywhere. Everything else will be put on our next agenda. I do have other business to come before us. Pursuant to 2417, the delegation has a right to form an investigative committee. I need a motion to approve that. Representative Belcher, seconded. Representative Woodcock. The reason for this is to look into the issues surrounding our CFO. It has been a request, and we will fulfill it. Representative Bucco.
I don't know where you are.
We're on RSA 24:17.
You just talk on the agenda, the voluntary.
Huh?
You talk on the voluntary.
Yeah, I did that. I don't know what number it is.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, it's under other business.
Oh, nothing written on it, just like verbally talking.
Okay. I guess that answers that.
No more numbers for today, Tom.
Nothing written.
We will, momentarily. We also have some transfers. Tom, don't go anywhere. So the motion is to form an investigative committee. It's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Just one.
Please, Representative Woodcock.
This committee, is there any idea of duration?
Until the committee is satisfied.
Thank you.
There will also be a supplement appropriation to the delegation line to the convention. I'll be working on that momentarily at our next meeting. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Okay, the motion is to create an investigative committee. Representative Taylor.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Smith votes yes. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Membership on that committee, Representative Smith, McDonald, Woodcock, Page, and the chair. We will get our chairman when we meet. I will call that meeting relatively quickly. We have minutes to approve.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the minutes from December 9th meeting.
Thank you. Everybody has those minutes?
Second.
Thank you. Any additions, omissions, or changes? Seeing none, Mr. Clark?
Just what was the date on the minutes, I'm sorry?
It was our last meeting, so
December 9th.
December 9th.
Next one here,
That was a while ago.
that's for budget.
Yeah, that was our original public hearing date.
Representative Taylor.
No.
It's
So,
in the file.
Taylor, Representative Taylor?
I abstain, I was not present.
Okay.
is that okay?
Yes, we have one we can do that with.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Belcher.
Yes.
Representative Brown.
Yes.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Okay.
Representative, me. Representative Bucco.
Yes.
Representative Woodcock.
Yes, it's a minute, right?
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So we have no
Motion
meeting.
passes 8-1.
Thank you. Ms. Siemens, do we have those minutes somewhere in our packets?
They're in your packet.
Yeah, the budget too.
The original's not here.
Thank you. No, this is probably in my packet. I just haven't come across it yet.
Just take it here.
But we need the original just to sign. We're also going to approve, do we have was the minutes of the executive committee in there too?
I didn't see it.
No.
All right. We have executive committee work, however, don't leave yet.
No, they transferred.
Mr. County Attorney, Mr. Sheriff, will you join us?
What, are you gonna deputize all of us?
In order to appear impartial and fair, and to avoid any conflicts of interest, I would usually ask for a member from each of your departments. However, I would ask that you go outside the county to find somebody that will assist us in our investigative committee. We will need we will need an attorney, and we will also need an investigator, or somebody that can process. If your department feels comfortable doing it, we'll probably need some services. If not, we might need an investigator. If your department's comfortable, I'm happy to work with you. If not, I'm happy to go out of the county as well. I know there will be a conflict for you, so I would expect an outside.
Yeah, I'll make some phone calls.
Thank you. Is that okay, Madam Sheriff Shardy?
Yeah, I'll think about someone in-house, but...
If it becomes a conflict, I'm happy to work with you and the county attorney. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for sticking with us.
Is that all?
That's all for right now, yes. We will be in touch. All right, any further business to come before the executive committee?
Is it quite a early date, Mr. Chair, for the next budget meeting?
Right now, we have to approve the Hales budget. It is being notified as, Hales budget's been noticed.
For March 21st.
So we have to have 14-day notice on their approval, after their approval. The 21st is our next meeting. It'll be approximately at the same time. I might move it up a little bit if we have a bit to do.
21st on.
You say 21st?
Yeah. Just one more question.
Please.
That's going to be the entire budget that day? We're going to
The
finish
entire delegation will be meeting that day to finish the budget. If there's any last minute things, I will ask for a vote for the executive committee to tidy up any loose ends.
Okay. And is there a chance by that time that the commission will relook at that position in DPW?
They're going to take a look at it relatively soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commissioners need a vote on this jail roof repair so we can get this started?
Eventually, yes, but not right this minute.
Not right this minute. Do you have a proposal for us or anything else?
We do have it with a list of other things we're going to do.
Thank you. I saw it on here. I just want to make sure that we can get started on that if there's damage, wind damage to...
I guess it wouldn't hurt to have a vote now.
All right, so give us an overview of what you did.
Well, we're going to actually, the proposal to do the roof is to cover the whole roof and stop the leaks, which have been ongoing for quite some time. And
Yes.
we did an RFP and gave a contract to a contractor.
Okay, what is the contractor's name?
I don't have it in front of me.
Is it Melanson Company?
Yes, Melanson Company.
Melanson, that was on October 24th, it was signed?
Yes.
I would say that's probably close.
Yep. And originally it was going to be bonded, but it's better to use the ARPA money to do it.
I would agree, especially if we're not going to do this facility.
Yep.
Seeing as, just for background, seeing as we've approved ARPA funds for this annex, any further appropriation that changes that comes before us, we will be approving them as they are brought forward. This one seems to be an immediate need, and I will support it to make sure that the jail is not leaking repeatedly. Superintendent King, is this going to cause any issues with your daily operations to have this roof done?
Not that I've been told. Director Murray did call me earlier and say that it's tentatively scheduled to start at the end of next month, and I said, how long are we looking to complete the work? He's guessed 2 weeks, so.
Okay.
The way I understand it, it's all just going to be rubberized and put over the existing roof after hopefully they screw some pieces back down. So hopefully there shouldn't be any interruption to my inside inmates.
Fantastic. We're just keeping them not from getting wet.
Correct.
Representative Brown, do you want to chime in there, buddy?
I do. I do have significant experience with these roofing repairs, and I've spoken to the delegation and to the commissioners in the past about construction inspection on this type of thing in regard to roofs and the proper installation. I certainly feel that that's very important, especially in light of the fact that we've had significant problems with this roof. So has that been figured into this project?
We actually had 3 responses to the RFP. The lowest bidder was not certified to do the installation of the system we're going to use. So we did not use that contractor. And the contractor we did pick, Melanson, is certified to do the installation of the roof, the repair that we're doing. I mean, Bob can speak to it actually better than I can.
So I'm not talking about the certification of the installer, I'm talking about roof inspection by an outside agency, like an engineering firm or a roofing consultant that would do that.
We had a consultant engineer actually give us the RFP, help through the bid process, make the recommendation, and they're going to be overseeing the progress.
That's
and
what
the
I wanted to hear.
completion.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And who is that?
I forget how old I am until you
We
start
can,
drilling me
we can get you that.
with questions.
All right, I put together a little overview for us.
They
Motion?
They did do a preemptive pull test in the fall. I don't know what exactly that entailed, but they were up there pulling on panels. So.
Okay.
that
Is it the
helps.
consultant I originally gave you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm very confident in this, yeah.
Do you remember their name?
I think it was ESG. It's been a long time since I've used them.
Fair.
I think it was Engineering Services Group, I think is their name.
Your motion is to approve the $700,000
It
to repair
is.
the roof. Thank you, Representative Brown. Representative Smith, you second?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. This is going to be coming from ARPA funds.
Yes.
At your leisure, Mr. Clerk. Any further discussion or questions for Representative Bucco?
Yeah, what are we voting on?
Voting on, we're going to be replacing the jail roof with some type of rubberized component.
The whole roof?
The whole roof, so it's not leaking
Where's
anymore.
that coming from?
ARPA. Not coming out of taxpayer, well, it's coming out of taxpayers' pockets, but it's coming out of a different pot.
We have that much left in from ARPA?
We have $7-point-something million left.
7 million.
Just a question on it. That was money that they initially identified to redo this building?
To redo this building and the water system.
Okay. So the water system is going to be done?
Water system is currently under contract and being worked on as we speak.
And what's going to happen to this building?
No idea.
Now that you've torn it apart, what is going to happen to this building?
What's going to happen to this building?
Yeah.
We may use the gopher funds to do a small renovation. We're not going to do the whole building. And that's to be determined. We have not determined that yet.
So the answer is we don't know what we're going to do with this building?
Correct.
So why are we releasing money that we already planned to use that, don't know what they're going to do with the building?
That's why we are approving it, because we've already allocated for that purpose. So this is a change of purpose.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who was the first and the second?
Brown
I made
and
the
Smith.
motion, Smith.
Instead
In
of
that
Smith and
order,
Brown.
Brown Smith instead of Smith Brown.
I have one more.
Representative Bucco, please.
What's the condition of the roof now that we're gonna repair? The jail roof?
Leaky.
Leaky.
There's a roof report on this that the Commissioner sent.
Would you like it, Tom?
Well, I would like to know how bad the condition is. How come we're just hearing about it now and we have to do the whole roof?
We've been talking about it a couple of years. Yep. It's been a couple-year project, working its way through. Because there were some patches that didn't take, there was some other work that was done that was trying to keep the cost down, and this seems to be the final solution, per se.
Well, it's leaking bad enough.
Yes. Yes, it's causing some internal issues. Electrical issues, wall issues, some rust issues, some component issues.
All of the above, yes. It literally pours in one of my inmate rooms when that we have to catch it with a barrel.
That must fill up quick.
Yeah, it's a bad situation, so I am hoping, as everyone else is, this is the final solution forever. because
I don't know about
it's a
for
problem,
forever.
because subsequent damages keep happening every time it rains. Even when it got warm last weekend, when we still had snow on the roof, it leaked then and it wasn't even raining, so it all depends, and you can't catch the leaks.
Probably a 25-year solution.
Mr. Clark?
Okay,
Hopefully
replace the
repair
jail
lasts.
roof from ARPA funds. Representative Taylor?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Belcher?
Yes.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Bucco?
Yes.
Representative Woodcock?
No.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
motion passes 8-1.
Thank you. In your package, you received a breakdown of the ARPA projects that they're looking at in place of this building. We will be taking them up as they come forward. I am keeping the ARPA funds separate from our regular budget because that was our guidance in the beginning when we received them, that they're not to be added to our budget process, that they would be side budgeted so that as to not skew our budget sheets going forward or our budgets going forward for one-time funds.
That was,
Representative Bucco?
that was in the packet that we received today?
Yes.
What the hell's it look like?
Just one sheet of paper.
Formerly,
Oh, okay. Formally, yeah, I see that.
And given that it's upgrades to the entire complex, we will take them up at the delegation level unless at that time, if the delegation wants to have the executive committee take care of it, we certainly can.
There it is, the bottom one.
Right.
We are in recess, to the call of the chair, till the 21st. I'll let you know on a time, given how much stuff is left on our plate. But we've done a good job today. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us.
21st of March?
21st of March, Friday.
4:37.
We had a little long, I wanted to be done at 4, but we got sidetracked.
I didn't get the time.
He didn't say it.
I made it for you.
He's gonna make it, try to make it somewhat today, maybe,
That's a Friday.
go later.
Will we convene our meeting?